Well, it's a postseason feel in the non-conference. We haven't even hit Christmas yet, but yet it's tournament time as we welcome you back. Night number 2, game number 3 of the DPT Holiday Classic, live from the Dog Pound. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. We've got our bracket set. The Consolation final will be the first game tonight. Then they'll play for the big hardware immediately following that, as Defiance dropped a tough 50-21 loss to the Ayersville Pilots in game number 2. So they will be taking on the Tinora Rams. The Rams thought they had the game, but with that said, you got to play until the final whistle, and the Blue Streaks of Archbold walked away with a tough-fought 48-42 victory. So the consolation game will start us off here. Leroy Lewis in his first season at the helm for Defiance. His Bulldogs still looking for their first win of the season. They are 0-6. They're hoping a little home cooking will be just what the doctor ordered. The Rams thinking woulda, coulda, shoulda after last night's 6-point setback, but Andrew Thiel and company, he's in his second season. They are looking to put that bitter taste out of their mouth as they get set to go to Liberty Center on Saturday. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. We are breaking it down in your Estel Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. We're still about 12.5 minutes away from tip-off. Scoop, it's one of those situations where, unlike a lot of other sports where you have to sit on a loss and maybe you have that bitter taste in your mouth, it's one of the beautiful things about basketball. Quite often, you're back on the court in the blink of an eye, and both these teams have a chance to put a little wind in their sails.
Well, you're exactly right. That's the beauty of basketball. And we talked to some of these young athletes here before the game during the JV tournament, and you could tell they want to try to right the ship. You know, they had a tough night last night, and probably feel they did a few things differently, the outcome could have changed. So nice thing is a short turnaround, and right now these are the games you want here to prepare you for the meat and bones of your conference season. So both these games, even though first one's a consolation final, both these teams certainly hungry for a win tonight.
Let's go ahead and start with the hosts and the Bulldogs. Leroy Lewis in his first season at the helm, 50-21. Now a lot of people will look at 21 points, and granted, that's difficult. They've got the offense still a work in progress would be a good way to put it. But defensively, look, if you tell any coach before they tip off that you're going to hold an opponent to 50 or under, that's pretty salty at that end of the floor, and they were very physical last night.
They really were. You know, they're struggling offensively, no question about it, coming in averaging just over 22 points a contest. But the fact is, especially in that second half yesterday, they really did a great job of stepping up their physicality. It showed on the scoreboard. I believe Defiance was able to outscore
in the third quarter.
In the third quarter, which says a lot because that Ayersville team they're playing has got a lot of athletes. To hold them to 4 points speaks volumes of maybe what's around the corner for this Defiance team.
Well, when you take a look at Defiance, she comes off the bench. She's just a sophomore. She dropped 20 of their 40 points earlier last week in that tough loss to Wapakoneta. But Jamie Rollins is going to be fun to watch, not just this season, but over the next couple years as she kind of grows into the game. A spark plug off the bench, but also infectious, Scoop. She brings an energy, she brings a tenacity that you just see wear off on the rest of her teammates.
Yeah, the 5'5" sophomore really is that spark plug, which they need. And you hit the nail on the head, Brent. You know, a lot of times you lead by example. You need those people that are going to go out there, not just talk the game, but go out there and really get after it. And if you go out there and play with that type of tenacity for 32 minutes, typically good things will eventually happen.
On the flip side, for the Tinora Rams, they are thinking woulda, coulda, shoulda. They jumped out to an early 7-point lead. It was really like a pair of heavyweight prize fighters just kind of standing in the middle of the ring trading punches. But in the end, it was 6 points better for the Blue Streaks of Archbold. We'll talk about Archbold shooting from the free throw line last night, which was unheard of. 17 of 18 for the game last night. They were next to perfect. But on the flip side, and we had a chance to talk with head coach Andrew Thiel and his staff, and even the players themselves, they easily left 20 points off the board last night by missing shots from 3 feet in, a lot of those uncontested layups. Scoop, they were bracing for contact that didn't come. But what ended up happening was it affected their shot. And Coach Thiel has really challenged them, if you're going to go, be aggressive. One of two things will happen. You'll either make the shot or you'll draw the foul, and then you've got a chance to score from the free throw line.
Yeah, I think that was a tough lesson last night for this Tinora Ball Club because you just don't have that type of margin of error when you're playing the likes of an Archbold. And, Archbold, they've kind of been the cream of the crop for a long, long time in this 419 area. But, Tinora had them on the ropes. They had that halftime lead. But, again, Archbold is going to keep coming at you. And, again, certainly a game I think Tinora felt they probably should have got done. But give Archbold credit. They found a way to climb out of that 7-point deficit. And they'll find themselves in the championship game here coming up next.
We're going to break down more of this consolation matchup as the Bulldogs and the Rams will be the appetizer here tonight. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more of Scoop's informative and entertaining analysis. It's the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. You're watching it on DCTV Sports. Welcome you back. You get a good look, a wide shot there at the Dog Pound, the Defiance High School Gymnasium. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. And it is night number 2, game number 3 of the DPT Classic, Defiance Physical Therapy. Just, again, a big thank you going out to them. Lots of times when you think about, okay, it's great to come to these, but somebody's got to help fund it. And DPT puts on a great, as does Defiance and the entire staff, putting on a great pre-season tournament. We've got the consolation round here tonight as the Bulldogs at 0-6 taking on the Rams at 2-2. Continuing our breakdown here before we get to the F&M Bank opening tip-off and our Baker Schindler Company starting lineups. All right, Scoop, some of the interesting matchups we're going to see here, but first, we started with the Bulldogs in that opening segment. Let's go in reverse order here with the Rams. We had a chance to talk to the coaching staff and the players themselves. We just flat out asked them, what did Coach tell you? What are the keys tonight? And they said 2 things, and they all said it in unison. So clearly they were paying attention. Rebound, but also number 2, finish. Either of those, both of those really come across as not necessarily fine-tuning basically your skill set. That just comes down to attitude, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. And it was nice to not only hear those comments from the players, but then we got a chance to talk to Coach Andrew Thiel afterwards, and he really echoed those things. So that's exactly what the message was. Those girls heard it loud and clear, and now I'm anxious to see how they can go out and execute here tonight.
It's easy to talk about it when it's basically theory in the locker room, right? It's another thing to actually implement it when the whistle sounds and the rubber meets the road, so to speak, on the court. But you anticipate maybe a little bit of an edge to Tinora tonight?
I really do. I look for them to really kind of come out and set the tone and look for them to really kind of be the aggressor here tonight. They want to make amends for some of those points they left on the table last night, weren't able to cash in on. I look for this to be a total team effort by the Rams. I think they're going to go deep into their bench tonight. And again, anytime you're playing Defiance here at the Taj Mahal, as they say, it's never going to be an easy task.
Well, they will be without the services of backup post to Emma Bailey. She twisted her ankle late in that game last night. We thought she was okay. She did walk off the court underneath her own power. Coach Thiel told us she could go if she was absolutely needed. But so early in the season, just game number 5, and a big one coming up this Saturday at Liberty Center, they're going to let her rest that ankle and really kind of, to quote the Ferris Bueller day off quote, rub her with a wet diaper. Make sure she's ready to go this weekend. She has a good attitude about it, and that's really what it's about here. Do you want to burn an athlete knowing that you might aggravate it and cost her another week, possibly more, or do you give her this one game off to make sure she's truly healthy for your next one?
Well, I really like the decision that the Tinora coaching staff made, the fact that they understand they've got not just a big game coming up this weekend, they've got the GMC just around the corner they want to compete for. So they really didn't feel that really worth the risk here. Try to give her a few extra hours here, maybe another 72 hours to nurse that ankle where she can get back in and make solid contributions, which I know they're counting on her doing here throughout this season.
Now, one thing that might affect, I don't want to say strategy, but certainly play on the court. Emma Bailey came in last night and was extremely physical. The Bulldogs last night, while they struggled offensively just to put up 21 points, they were extremely physical on the defensive end. Coach Lewis has some big, strong posts that he will rotate in, and where you maybe have 3 or 4 for Defiance, now you're down 1 for Tinora. Is this a possibility where Defiance might be able to wear them out, possibly get them into foul trouble in the second half?
Well, I look for this to be an awfully physical contest, and I talked with some of the Archbold girls before the game, and they were almost relieved they weren't playing Defiance because of that physicality that you alluded to. So they saw it as well, and I think that's something that they can maybe build on until the offense kind of finds its stride. But if they can go physical, control the glass, play hard defensively, they can keep themselves in the ballgame.
We've got about 2.5 minutes before we tip off the Consolation final here this evening. It is the DPT Classic, live from the Dog Pound, Defiance High School Gymnasium. It will be the Bulldogs and the Rams to open up night number 2 of the tournament. You are listening to the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show, and we're back with more on DCTV Sports. Both teams finishing their respective warm-ups. The ball's going back into the racks. The warm-up jerseys being shed, and both teams will huddle up around their respective coaches. Your officiating crew tonight, forgot to write it in my book. We do want to thank Dan, though, down at the scorer's table. We always give good officiating credit on the air. And tonight's officiating crew for game number 1 will be Jeff Ressler, Paul Stoll, and Doug Etzler. This looks like a pretty fit crew, Scoop. Hopefully they'll be able to keep up and down the court with the pace of the action tonight.
Well, some nights it's easier to give credit to the officials than others, but certainly a veteran crew out there. Been blessed to have all 3 of those guys throughout my coaching career. And, the great thing about those guys, they do it for the kids, and they do work the game. And they've got a lot of years of experience. I won't say just how many. I don't want to give their age away.
Just the same. They don't have their ARP cards just yet, right? Final 20 seconds ticking off the pregame clock. Everybody coming to a stand here as they know what's coming, and that's going to be the national anthem, courtesy of the Defiance Elks Lodge number 147. Again, the Defiance Elks Lodge number 147, bringing you the national anthem here this evening. The Stars and Stripes have been dropped almost at half court. The pregame announcements regulated or required by the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Everybody being reminded of the benefits of good sportsmanship and making sure that you treat the game, approach the game in the right way. And do we have, oh, look at this. We're going to have an a cappella quartet bringing us the national anthem here this evening. All right, this ought to be a treat. Midnight Snack going to be performing the national anthem. like the national anthem, courtesy of an a cappella quartet, Midnight Snack, doing the honors here this evening. And brought to you again by Defiance Elks Lodge number 147. Time now for your Baker Schindler Company starting lineups. They were the host team last night. They will be the visiting team on the scoreboard this evening, but it is their gym. The Defiance Bulldogs at 0-6 overall, led by head coach Leroy Lewis in his first season. Looking for their first victory of the season. They will send the following 5 out onto the court to start the ball game. Samantha Hohenberger will get the starting nod at the off guard. Again, Hohenberger, a 5'5 junior. The point guard, Bella Rallison. Rallison, a 5'10 sophomore. She brought some grit last night, very physical. Alexa Garcia, number 24. She is a 5'7 junior. Your front court, Kendeline Krekel. They call her KK. Krekel stands in at 5'7 and a senior. And I believe it's going to be Olivia Brenner. I'm looking down on the court. Coach Lewis might have made a change. I'm looking to see if number 44 is indeed going to get up. It might be McDonald, and I think it is. It is. Instead of Brenner, it's going to be number 42, Caroline McDonald. For Tinora, no surprises here. At the point, Carly Oakley. Oakley standing in at 5'5", a senior. She averages just a shade under 8 points per ball game. At the off guard, it's going to be Nova Oakley. Nova Oakley. Last night, had 9 points at the half scoop. She finished with 9. They got physical with her in the second half, and she basically just struggled. Eowyn Blanchard, good to know that the noggin is okay. She hit her head very hard on the court in the closing seconds, but she's all right. Eowyn Blanchard going to get the starting nod. She's averaging 8 points per game. And then rounding out, Julia Durfee and Addison Lee, your front court. Time now for the F&M Bank opening tip-off. This for the consolation prize at this year's DPT Classic. And the Rams win the tip. And they will open things up offensively. Get Defiance in those dark blue uniforms with the light blue numbering and letterals. Tinora in the home whites with the green lettering and numerals. Good ball movement right now. Oakley releases it. On the drive, Nova Oakley. Dishes off. They're really testing this. Is this a sagging zone here or a man? I'm trying to see as the ball drops down.
It's made a man. It's got some matchup principles to it, but they're doing a great job of kind of laying off 2 passes away, providing plenty of help. And there's the game's first turnover forced by that Defiance defense.
Pays off, as Tinora really didn't get a good look. They didn't get the ball really inside the arc at all. So here comes, look at this. This is going to be Rollins. So another change in the starting lineups. We missed her. But Rollins, the young sophomore, is a spark plug. As the shot off the mark, comes back out into the near corner. And Defiance showing a nose for the basketball, but Rollins can't take the contact, and that's going to be a travel and a turnover. So both teams with a quick turnover to start off the ball game. And Defiance electing to pick up at half court. I'm looking at the top half of this defense, and Hohenberger is going to pick up the ball. Flashing into the high blocks, and they miss Durfee. Back out. Oakley thought about driving. Right now things a little tentative offensively for Tinora. They almost turned it over again. Baseline drive. Nice move, got a little bit too far behind the backboard by Durfee. And here comes Rollins. Double clutches. Nice follow. It's in and out. Well, I thought Krekel had it there.
Yeah, tremendous hustle play by Krekel, who really worked away for position but missed the putback.
We're going to have a little too much hand checking out towards the top of the key, and that's going to go against Hohenberger, her first team foul, number 1. Well, that's what Defiance wants. They want a low-scoring, defensive, basically physically oriented ball game tonight. And right now, they're bringing it.
Yeah, they want to get into the half court, try to shorten this game down, and really use their physicality. You know, this officiating crew typically is going to let you play.
Sizing up the 3. It's off the heel of the iron for Blanchard, and one and done. Rollins keeping her eyes up the court. She finds Krekel. Oh, gambling and going for the steal. Oakley missed it. Now it's 5-on-4s. The drive and the dish. In and out. Man, it is physical right now, and they are letting them play. McDonald really using her size and her strength down low.
I really like what Caroline McDonald did that time. She really fought for position on that backside, was almost able to extend that possession with an offensive rebound, but Tinora, to their credit, kind of matched that physicality, and they'll bring it up here. Still looking for the game's first point.
5.5 showing on the first quarter clock. Neither team able to break the scoreboard just yet. Blanchard on the drive, nice dish. That is what she got last night. Lee just a little bit toward the right. It's out of bounds. Looks like it will remain Tinora basketball.
Yeah, pretty nice take there by Addison Lee, who can really beat you off the dribble. That time a tough kind of scoop shot on the move, rims out.
They will swing it over. Tinora being very patient. Crossing over. Lee surrenders. Right now, only one shot from inside the arc so far for Tinora. This might be the second. Nope, drive and dish. Sizing up the corner three. Halfway down, it spits out. Boy, Lee thought she had that, and we've got bodies flying everywhere in the paint. We have a foul or a jump ball. Jump ball, and the possession arrow points to Defiance.
Yeah, not a bad possession that time by the Rams. You have to really credit Nova Oakley that time. She got good dribble penetration, drew the double team, got the kick out to the corner, but Lee misfired there from beyond the arc. And right now the defenses have been the star of tonight's game. We've gone over 3 minutes here without a single point.
Only one foul between both teams, so while it's been physical, the officials have been letting them play. Rollins will walk it across the timeline. Laying in wait for her is Blanchard. Garcia surrenders it on a bounce pass. Pass almost went over Garcia's head. She's working against Durfee right now. Rollins. A lot of shake and bake in between the circles, and good ball movement right now by Defiance, but very patient on the drive, running one-hander. That was a good look by Ramirez, but she just couldn't finish.
That was good possession. They got everybody involved on the offense and got a nice touch inside.
Long three, finally breaks the scoreboard as Eowyn Blanchard takes the lid off of it. That is going to be a Premier Bank three-pointer.
Great job by Blanchard. Had her feet set, was able to catch and shoot in rhythm.
On the dribble penetration, things getting physical, almost turned over, but nice job to be strong hands by Garcia. She kicks it out up top. Rare fast break opportunity for Tinora. Oakley on the drive, she'll surrender it. What Lee thought about downtown, nice move, nice drive, around the world, it kicks out. Scoop, I thought she might have been able to take at least one more dribble there. Did she take that shot a little early?
Yeah, I think she could have gone all the way to the rack uncontested. But she's going to be a tough matchup. Her ability to shoot the ball deep but also take it to the rack with her size.
Substitutions checking in for Defiance. Bella Rallison, who started last night at point guard, now checks in, as does Olivia Brenner, who started at center last night. So Coach Lewis using his bench in the early going. Low scoring affair. Just 3 points between both teams. Lee, bounce pass, free throw line extended. That was just a little soft, and there's another turnover. Coming the other way, slowing it down. Brenner down low, and Defiance now on the books.
Great job by Defiance, and credit Bella Rallison that time with a good assist after the nice dribble drive.
Taking this one in hard as Durfee doesn't make the basket, but does draw the contact. That was one of the things Coach Thiel told us he wanted, especially his ball handlers, to do. Forget about whether they're coming at you. Forget about whether you're fouled. If you're fouled, you're going to the line. But they left a lot of bunnies short last night. That is a playbook out of what Coach Thiel has wanted. And guess what? First free throw was good.
Yeah, I really think the message was not only delivered, it was heard loud and clear. I like how Tinora has done a great job of being physical on both ends of the glass. They're also attacked in the rim, playing downhill.
Oh, good anticipation, jumping the route. Blanchard coast to coast and lays it up and in. So points off a turnover, and Eowyn Blanchard has 5 of the Rams' early 7 points. We have a timeout on the floor. 2:46 left to go first quarter. You're watching DCTV Sports. .246 left to go in the first quarter. It is the Consolation Championship of the 2023 DPT or DCTV at the DPT Classic. Try saying that 10 times fast. Brent Palvin alongside Scoop Miller. Tinora the host, even though it is Defiance's home gym. And Scoop right now, it's physical, but points off a turnover. As a matter of fact, those are the first points off of any turnover for either team.
Yeah, both teams have actually played clean, but that last turnover there resulted in an easy run out and deuce. And I like the timeout by Leroy Lewis.
Nice job there by Rollison to get into the paint. Brenner misses once, follows her own shot. Can't get the friendly roll. Whoa. Runs right up the back of Durfee, and Durfee decides to get out of there. Crossing over. Kind of trails, puts up a 3, no good, and battle for the basketball will be out of bounds off Brenner. Well, one thing we noticed last night, and we're seeing the use here again, whether it's McDonald or whether it's Brenner, Fernandez, Coach Brown has some posts with some size and strength, and he's going to use them. Inbounding on the baseline. Oakley on the drive, hits the deck, they'll play on. Here comes Rollins, 1-on-3. She doesn't care, and this one swatted out of bounds by Lee.
A great job by that Bulldog defense to force the turnover. You have to love how Rollins is going right to the rack, but great transition defense that time by the Rams.
Oh, nice move by Brenner to come in. Even though she didn't get a clean handle on an inbounds pass, she used her shoulder to kind of work the defense off of her, and she's got both of Defiance's baskets.
Tremendous move there by Brenner, and once again, credit Rawlson dropping a dime, and another turnover by the Rams.
Rollison finds Rollins trailing, almost dribbled behind her back on a deflected ball there. Garcia into the paint. Rollison with a long 3 follows her shot. Defiance has a nose for the basketball tonight. Are we going to have a jump ball? The arrow will point to the Rams.
Right now, Defiance is doing what they need to do as far as their game plan. They need to get into a half court and make this as physical a game as possible. And when they do that, they're going to match up fine with the Rams. Meanwhile, Tinora wants to kind of push the pace a little bit, use some of their athletes to spread the floor and drive downhill to the rack.
Amelia Coy checking in at that last stoppage of play for the Rams. Just under 90 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. After jumping out to a 7-0 lead, it's been cut to 3. On the drive, nice look by Oakley, but she kind of flat-armed that ball. And again, it didn't catch any iron. Coming out in some full court pressure, Rollins, spin move. Look at her go. Oh, what a crossover, and she draws, nope, she walked with it before she got fouled. Well, she knows no fear.
Well, that time she tried to get away with the Euro, and I thought she did for a while when I heard that whistle, but I hate to admit it, but I think Jeff Ressler got that one right, and they do call steps.
Coming up on a minute left to go. Tinora, in particular Durfee on the drive, and a blocking foul going to be the call. This one's going to go against, double checking, I think that's Kendeline Krekel that got the foul.
Yeah, that's going to be Krekel's second foul, so she'll probably sit the final minute here of this opening quarter, but just the 3rd foul for Defiance in this ball game, and the Rams have yet to commit a foul.
Her and Brenner both come out as that ball is stripped, and the last touched by, I believe that was Rollison. McDonald is back in as the post for the Bulldogs. What a difference a night makes. Defiance has made this game slow. They have made it physical, and they're within 3. Tinora looking to extend the lead. Another spot up 3, and the Nets draperies swish. That's another Premier Bank three-pointer. And the ball out of bounds, make it 10-4.
And great recognition that time by Oakley. That time they set a ball screen, and instead of hedging it, they slipped underneath it. She found herself open from beyond the arc, and she drained it.
First cutter through, nothing doing. Running 4 out, not really even 1 in. It's more 5 out, with just a lot of motion away from the basketball. Driving lane does not appear to be there, although Coy tried to go baseline, and it looks like a foul's going to be called against Rallison. Nope, check that, Hohenberger. That'll be her second.
And not a bad foul by Hohenberger. They had 1 to give, but from here on out, it'll be 2 shots here for Tinora. But I like the fact that she was getting beat baseline, gave up the last foul, prevented the layup.
Tinora was flirting with 5, with just 15 ticks left to go in the first quarter. Spin move by Blanchard. Oakley drives, dishes. Top of the key, Blanchard again. Beautiful stop and pop jump shots.
Wow, what a dribble move by Blanchard. And that will do it here for the opening 8 minutes. But Tinora finishes on a bang after a slow start to take a 12-4 advantage after the opening 8 minutes.
They'll put the second 8 up on the scoreboard clock. We will have it for you. Second quarter action when we come back. It is the Consolation Championship of the DPT Classic, and you're watching it on DCTV Sports. First quarter is in the books. Coming out of that first insurance group timeout, it's time for a Mark Moats Ford stat summary. I've got some points. Scoop keeping track of turnovers. Scoop, what have you got right now for both teams?
Well, for the Rams in the opening 8 minutes, they turned the ball over just 2 times. Meanwhile, Defiance played rather clean as well. Just 3 turnovers for the Bulldogs. Both teams were able to get 2 points off those turnovers. So 2 points from the defense by both teams.
We'll get the stats scoring summary after this possession. One and done, and here comes Carly Oakley wanting to run. Kicking it back out up top. Good ball movement, spotting up for 3. That one's just a little short by Blanchard. Offensively, one player for Defiance taking care of all 4 points. As there's another turnover. Oakley drives in, give her 2 in the first points of the second quarter. Again, Olivia Brenner with all 4 of Defiance's first quarter points. On the flip side, Eowyn Blanchard with 7 of the first quarter 12 points for the Rams. A 3 ball by Nova Oakley and a pair of free throws by Julia Durfee.
The Defiance here in the first 38 seconds of quarter 2 has turned it over twice. The Rams were able to cash in for 2 points already off that turnover.
14-4, Lee kind of testing the waters. Again, I don't want to say tentative, but Scoop, she made a great move to get into the paint. It was almost like she still expected contact there. If she would have exploded, I think she finishes. Now, she does draw the contact and the foul. So, again, getting in is one thing, but going in aggressively is what Coach Thiel says he wants to see his ball handlers do tonight.
Yeah, and when she figures that out, boy, she's going to be a load. She's going to be a tough matchup where it's going to be awfully tough to really find that person that's going to really fare well with her ability to take the ball to the rack, to shoot the basketball, combined with her length.
Yeah, and her size. I mean, she's put together. As the rebound off the missed free throw, no good. Whoa, and a little bit of contact there. Rollins keeping a high dribble, works her way out of it. Oakley picks her up. Oh, what a move. Addition to the near wing. The pass was a little high. Hohenberger was hoping for a catch and shoot 3. She'll come off a screen set by Krekel. Good help side defense, though, by Tinora, and that one swatted away. And again, was that Lee that caught a piece of?
That was. She timed that perfectly, got all basketball. And now Tinora trying to get some separation here in the early stages of the second quarter.
Up 15-4, looking for more. Lee testing the waters. Boy, an open look from 15, but Blanchard didn't want it. She had 7 of her team's first 12 points. Coming up on the 6-minute mark here in the second quarter. And Oakley will back it out. Patience by Tinora right now. Allison thought about jumping the lane there. Drive and dish, up top. Lee, why not for 3, and the draperies swish. That is another Premier Bank 3-point shot, second of the game for the Rams, and they're starting to get some separation.
Yeah, tremendous set that time by Tinora, and credit Carly Oakley there with the nice inside-out pass.
Oh, look at that, countering at the other end. Kendeline Krekel, they call her KK, and she drains a Premier Bank 3-pointer.
A much-needed hoop there by Defiance to end that Tinora run.
Nova Oakley got the pump fake and got the defense in the air. She'll head to the charity stripe. McDonald picks up her first, team foul number 2. Nova Oakley drains her first. Oakley, 11.3 points, a couple of boards per game. She had 9 points at the half last night against Archbold, and they shut her out in the second 16 as she comes up short on this one. So score remains 19-7. Carly Oakley trying to pick up the ball. Rollins sizing up the defense. What's on your mind, kid? She's going to drive, and that ball might have actually come off the hip of Durfee. Loose ball. Rollins harassing what was kind of a thin outlet pass, and we're going to have a jump ball. The arrow does stay with Tinora. Whether they make or miss, Defiance finds whoever has the basketball. Expect to be swarmed. Rollins will catch a breather. Coach Lewis will sub her out. We got, what, number 34 checking in. These blue numbers on almost dark blue jerseys. I don't know, Scoop. I think my eyesight's pretty good. I got an upgraded prescription, but man, this can be a little difficult to see.
Yeah, it's a tough read from up here in the corner.
Lee goes to the near corner. Coy testing the waters. Oh, nice cut. Nice drive. Everything but finish for Nova Oakley. And one and done. Garcia, really strong board. She took one across the bridge of the nose. Rollison, good look. The pass was a little low. It wasn't a bad idea, but it was at the feet of her post, and that was just too tough to handle.
Yeah, an unselfish play there by Rollison. I'd like to see her really take it to the rack there. You've got great position in there, but she was going to go uncontested. But credit Rollison, she sees the floor extremely well.
Well, again, just a sophomore. So much youth on this Defiance roster. Far corner 3, long 3, around the world it kicks out, and Oakley's wondering what she's got to do.
That thing looked like it was in the hoop twice and somehow popped out.
Defiance had a rare fast break opportunity. It wasn't there, so they will back it out. Garcia signaling the offensive set. They'll go into their continuity. Rollison on the drive, strip, Bajani on the spot. Garcia couldn't get the roll. And it will be Tinora basketball.
And once again, great job by Rollison to break down that defense, and she slipped a pass right in there. A great look there for the Bulldogs, but right now they're just having a tough time finishing around the rim.
Carly Oakley out, Eowyn Blanchard in. 3:42 left to go in the first half. Rams getting a little bit of separation here in this second quarter. They have outscored Defiance 7-3. Backing it out in between the circles. Blanchard surrenders. This is going to be another quick possession, but when you score, you don't mind them. Amelia Coy drains one from beyond the arc, their third Premier Bank three-pointer.
Good looking three by the junior Coy after tremendous floor spacing and ball movement by the Rams.
Trying to counter at the other end with a three. Garcia has this one go off the heel of the iron and over the backboard. As Rollins will check in, Garcia will check out for the Bulldogs.
Well, right now, Defiance really has to find a way to start attacking the glass.
Yeah.
Tinora has not committed a foul here. We've gone over 12 minutes here in this first half, so you have to put a little bit more stress on the defense. When you're struggling scoring points, you have to get to the foul line, something that Defiance has been unable to do here tonight.
Rollins knocks the ball out of bounds. We have got a timeout by the Rams. 3:03 left to go in the first half. Tinora 22, Defiance 7. It's the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. They get a good look at the Rams huddle. Somewhere in there, a second-year coach, Andrew Thiel. Consolation championship of the 2023 DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. So you just have to slow down a little bit. The alliteration, it's a little tough off the tongue. Championship game immediately following this one. It will be the Ayersville Pilots at 5-0 versus the Archbold Blue Streaks at 4-2. Both teams winning last night. Trying to make it a clean sweep at this year's tournament. We're looking from our half-court camera up on the track/mezzanine level here at the Dog Pound. This is an absolutely fantastic facility. There are Division II colleges that wish they had this type of facility.
Oh, no question, and not just their basketball facility either.
Overall. Seen the practice gym here? Fantastic stuff. Oh, we got a turnover again. The defense by Defiance playing up big. How many does that make now for Tinora?
Tinora, that's just her third turnover of the game. Meanwhile, Defiance has committed 6.
What'd they have at the first quarter? Just 3, so it's been an average of 3 both quarters.
Yeah, and Defiance has cleaned it up. They turned it over twice in the opening 38 seconds of quarter 2. Since that time, just 1 turnover here in the last 5 minutes.
Off the inbounds, the lob coming out up top. Rollins spun, steps back. Boy, that's a nifty move, and she finishes with the tray. Wow.
Oh, that's a sweet move. I'm not sure how you're going to defend that one. You just got to tip your cap, but a Premier Bank 3 from deep.
Speaking of threes at the other end, countering Julia Durkee with a Premier 3 of her own, and that counters to put the lead back up to 15.
And what a big-time answer, and that's something we've seen Tinora do time and time again here tonight. Just when Defiance starts to maybe get a little momentum, Tinora seems to have the quick answer, lead back to 15.
2 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. Right now putting on a dribbling clinic. Hohenberger just a bit short. You tell her to take that shot every trip down, though, don't you?
Absolutely. That's a great look inside the lane.
Oakley stops and pops, and a blocking foul. She'll head to the line. And that draws a chorus of boos from the Defiance faithful.
Yeah, certainly the home crowd not in favor of that call, but again, that's the way the game is typically called. You know, the aggressor is going to be the beneficiary. So maybe this is something the Rams and the Bulldogs can both learn from. And there you see the first of 2 by Nova Oakley. String music, and that gives them their largest lead now at 16 points.
Nova Oakley again averages just over 11 points per ball game. She had 9 at the half last night and finished with 9 as she drains her second. And right now she's got 6 to stretch the lead to 17. Rollins putting on a dribbling clinic. Decides to dish. Open 3 from the corner, and it's buried. Another Premier Bank 3, this time from Samantha Hohenberger.
Great job by Hohenberger. catching and shooting in rhythm after good dribble penetration.
All of a sudden, it's a three-fest as that one skims off the iron by Blanchard. One and done. Rollins wants to run. Well, that's a dangerous pass, but she threads the needle, and Lee says you'll have to earn them. Hohenberger will head to the stripe.
What an athletic play that time from Hohenberger. That's a ball typically it's going to sail out of bounds into the second row. And she had the not only athletic ability to jump, but the hands to snarl in. But there she drains the first of two. So right now, Defiance offense starting to kind of find its stride here in the later stages of the second quarter.
It's got it to 13. Boy, she looks good on both of those. 27-15. They pulled it within a dozen. Buck 18 left to go in the half. Oakley will walk it down the middle of the court. Rollins waiting for her. A lot of movement without the basketball in this Tinora offense. Speaking of which, nobody picks up Nova Oakley. I thought she'd take it hard in. Instead, loose ball. Three on the left wing. No good by Coy. Boy, fighting for the ball. And when Blanchard looked like she took one across the lips there as Garcia was clearing out. And what's the call? And the foul is going to be against Blanchard. So insult to injury. As she picks up her first, it's just team foul number 2 with less than a minute left to go in the half.
Yeah, they still have 2 to give, so really nothing wrong with that foul. I like how they're trying to extend possession, going the offensive glass, but great job being physical by the Bulldogs to snare that rebound.
Rallison to the corner. Quick shot. Don't think that Garcia quite had her feet underneath her, but man, following up and going hard for the board, and we've got a whistle. And it's against number 11, it looks like, Carly Oakley. That'll be her first, but that is team foul number 4 with just 39 and 1/10 seconds left to go in the half. Garcia to the far corner. Rallison launch for 3. It skims off the iron, and Oakley cleans up on the weak side. Wanting to run a little bit, but look at Rollins. Slows down the transition offense. 20 seconds left to go. Do you take the air out of the ball here if you're Tinora and work for the final shot?
I think you do. Plus, they get the ball to start the third quarter. So you look to attack, take the high percentage shot, and there's one right there from the three-point line that rims out.
It's one and done, and with 6 and 8/10 seconds left, look at this. A foul for the board, so the clock stops, and now Defiance will get to walk to the other end of the gym to shoot free throws.
That's just the 14th foul.
Oh, that's just 4.
That was the last one to
take
give.
that back. I was looking at, we're partially blocked by the handrail on the far side. I thought that was 4, but now it is 4. So I stand corrected. Rollins streaking down the far side, stops, jacks up a long 3, and that'll do it for the end of the first half. So Tinora takes a 12-point advantage into the locker room, 27-15. But still, despite trailing by a dozen, this is the pace that Defiance wants to set. And we'll take a quick timeout, courtesy of First Insurance Group. When we come back, it'll be the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching live coverage of the 2023 DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. We welcome you back to Defiance High School. It is the Dog Pound. It's time for the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. 27-15, it is the Consolation Championship of the DPT Classic. Championship game will come about 15 minutes following the completion of this one, as 5-0 Ayersville will take on 4-2 Archbold. All right, let's run down our Mark Moats Ford stat summary at the half here. Let's start with turnovers and points off of turnovers. It's been a physical game, but for the most part, the officials have let them play. Scoop, what do you have as far as the category is concerned?
Well, right now, Tinora's done an excellent job of taking care of the basketball. They're getting shots just about every time down. They only had 3 first-half turnovers, but Defiance was able to get 5 of their points off those 3 turnovers. Meanwhile, the Bulldogs, 3 turnovers in each of the first and second quarters for a total of 6, and Tinora was able to get 5 points off those turnovers as well. So both teams do an excellent job. We haven't seen full court pressure, so you expect those numbers to be down a little bit, but with the physicality going out there, I think both teams have done an incredible job.
Let's go ahead and take a look at your scoring totals first. Leading all scorers for Tinora, Eowyn Blanchard. 7 points. She had them all in the first quarter, but they did a good job of, I think, face guarding her in the second 8 minutes. She's really had to work just to get touches, much less shots off. On her heels, 6 points for Nova Oakley, a 3-pointer in the first quarter, 3 out of 4 free throws in the second. 5 points for Julia Durfee. Addison Lee, 4 points. She drained a 3 and then also 1 of 2 from the free throw line. 3 points off the bench for Amelia Coy, and a deuce for starting point guard Carly Oakley. For the Bulldogs, 4 points for backup center tonight. She didn't get the starting nod, but Olivia Brenner with a couple of garbage putbacks. She really worked hard. Both of those were second chance points. A 3 from Kendeline Krekel, a 3 from Jamie Rollins, and that thing was NBA-esque. Between the legs, jab step, back step, and a fadeaway 3, and it fell. It was definitely highlight reel material, but those are her only points so far this evening. And Samantha Hohenberger draining a 3 and 2 for 2 from the charity stripe as well. Those are your Mark Moats Ford statistical summary here at the half. We'll take a quick timeout. More of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports. Hey, look at you. Look at me. We welcome you back. It is the half. It is the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show on DCTV Sports. 2023 Consolation Championship of the DPT Classic. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. All right, Scoop, this is where we play coach with a headset on. Let's start with Coach Lewis if you're for the Bulldogs. You have established, for the most part, the tempo that you want. It has been a slow, it has been a physical ball game, and you're only down by a dozen. What are you telling your team if you are in that Bulldogs locker room?
Well, you can tell them to stay the course. You know, right now they just have to find a way to get to the charity stripe. And credit to Tinora, they've done a nice job of not getting into foul trouble, not committing silly fouls. They've done an excellent job of checking out. I think if you're Defiance, you have to force the issue. You have to really start going downhill offensively. You have to really start trying to get some post touches inside and maybe force the officials to call something, because right now Defiance, the fact they came in averaging just 22.3 points a game, they have to find a way to get some of those easy points. I think that'd be a tremendous way to start it.
On the flip side, I'm a little surprised, although they have nailed 4 3-pointers, but in talking with Coach Thiel, his stress was 2 things tonight. Number 1, rebounds, so you can fill the lanes and get out and run, but number 2, finish. Get to the iron, get into the lane, and if you don't finish, at least you're forcing a foul in most times, and you're heading to the free throw line. Have they been aggressive enough for Coach Thiel's tastes?
Well, I've seen improvement from a night ago, so that part's certainly a plus. I think they can. I don't think they've realized yet how physical they can be and how tough they can be to defend if they go all the way to the rack. I think too many times they're selling for pulling up maybe from 6 to 8 feet, and again, just finish off that drive. They've got the athletes to do that. But one big plus, I think, for Coach Thiel, the fact that his team is very unselfish. They do a great job of not only spreading the floor, they move without the basketball very well. That itself is going to stress a lot of defenses. So if they can continue to maybe get a little higher pace, try to get Defiance to go up and down a little bit more, I think they can maybe get some points from their turnovers and really start getting some separation here in this second half.
All right, now one team is out. Defiance is shooting around. We're looking at, is that Archbold, who will be playing in the championship game about 15 minutes after this one, getting a quick shoot around in. We have seen no sign of Tinora just yet, so they are taking maybe a little extra coaching in that Ram locker room.
Well, you know what, I don't mind that a bit because this is probably the first time all season that these 4 teams have had to play on back-to-back nights. And last night, Tinora had to go the full distance. They came up a little bit short to Archbold. So I think that little extra minute here they're getting is probably a smart thing. It probably could pay dividends a little bit in the second half.
We're a couple minutes away from starting off the second half. Again, the Rams leading by a dozen, 27-15. We'll see how the third quarter plays out. We're going to take our final break of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. When we come back, the second half. You're watching live coverage of the 2023 DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. Look at that. Who says we don't have technology here, ladies and gentlemen? We welcome you back. You see the final seconds ticking off the halftime clock here, the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Brent Balbinot, Scoop Miller saying thank you for joining us. We've got another one following this one. This is the Consolation Championship. Archbold at 4-2, taking on Ayersville at 5-0. Almost immediately following this one. Who will leave with a big trophy in hand? We'll wait and see. Why don't you join us? Final 20 seconds ticking off the clock here. Tempo. We talked about how Defiance wanted a slower, more physical ball game. I think it's safe to say they got it. But at the same time, you see Tinora with a 12-point lead. Well, there's just something about the way this game has played out here. You kind of get the feeling if either team is able to go on, say, a 2 or even a 3-bucket run, you're going to see all of a sudden a change in the complexion of this game.
I totally agree, and if you're Tinora, you really have to be careful. Defiance at 0-5, awfully hungry for that first win, and anytime you're playing here in Defiance, you better strap them up tight because these kids typically will fight to the end. So I think the first 3 minutes here is going to be huge for both these teams.
Coming out on ball pressure. Look at this. You don't think they were challenged to really ratchet things up defensively? Man, Defiance is in Tenora's jersey to open up the third quarter here. In between the circles, Oakley on the drive. They're moving the ball around the perimeter very well. Durfee drives but cut off. A little bit of contact, wide open at the top of the key. Oakley will pull the trigger, doesn't catch anything.
A nice job by Defiance. You talked about right away, Brent, their on-ball pressure had really stepped up. We saw that from the opening possession there. And again, when you do that, it makes it a little bit tougher to hit those open shots, and that one resulted in an air ball. we'll see how the Bulldogs counterattack.
Well, they counterattack on the 1-2-2 zone by going over the top of it. The shot swatted away, and we have a jump ball or do we have a foul? Looks like jump ball, and the arrow stays with Defiance.
And again, I like the strong move by Defiance going downhill, but they need to take that another step and power fake if you need. There's a great entry on the out of bounds.
McDonald goes up strong. Count it, and one coming.
Oh, I love it. You know, I know they were challenged. We saw that from Coach Lewis. We talked about it. You have to find a way to get to the foul line. It took them less than a minute to do that after being really shut out from the line the entire first half.
Foul goes against Durfee. It is her second. That's an air ball from McDonald, so automatically a turnover. But Defiance has come out with some strong defense. They get the shot, and they're within 10. See how Tinora responds. Oh, almost dragging her pivot foot as she picked up her dribble. Durfee. Again, that on-ball defense right now by Defiance is tight, and we're going to have a blocking foul. And if that's Krekel, that's her third.
Yeah, that time Krekel just tried to do a little bit too much. You know, she wanted to take the charge, but she didn't have position to do it, so she was been better off to maybe take a better pursuit angle, cut her off with the pass, so to speak.
That was actually her fourth, so she's going to have to take a seat on the bench as the quick three rattles in and out. Rolison wants to run. Nice secondary break on the drive. Garcia draws the foul, and Defiance is coming out in an extra gear here, Scoop.
Yeah, I really like what they've done here in the opening minute, 15 seconds. You can see it on both ends. We talked about already their defensive tenacity is picked up, but here they're at the charity stripe for the second time here in this third quarter, so that's awfully big. Remember, Tinora did not commit a foul the first 12 minutes of this contest and had just 4 the entire first half. Already they've been whistled twice here in the opening minute 15.
Well, the trouble for Defiance is they have yet to connect, and I think we got a lane violation here. So just when it looks like they're going to hit at least one, that's going to be a turnover.
Boy, that's a tough break. You know, Defiance has been on a 7-0 run. Looked like it was going to go to 8-0 right there until the violation on the free throw.
Tinora starting to pick up their intensity a little bit. That's a nice step back jumper, but a little long by Blanchard. And out of bounds, I believe Rollins the last to touch it.
Yeah, Defiance right now, they just have to hold Tinora to one and done. You know, if they keep this kind of pressure, Tenora's not going to shoot as effectively as they did in that opening half. And you cannot give multiple possessions.
Thinking about it, spotting up open for three. That's a little short. Didn't quite have enough English on it. Talk about a new dance move by Nova Oakley, but that's going to be out of bounds.
Yeah, that's a hustle play by Oakley, but she was not reestablished, trying to come back in bounds. And so the ball will go to Defiance with a chance to make this a single-digit lead by the Rams.
Wow, Rollins just has a different gear than everybody else on the court, and she'll dish. Ball is left a little short by Ramirez, but the follow is up and good.
Yeah, great job attacking the rim. That time it was Caroline McDonald with the offensive rebound and putback. And now the run extended to 9-0.
And another turnover. Rollins wants to run. They've got 5 on 4. Is she going to take it? Spin move, dishes just inside the arc, and that won't catch anything. But guess who's there? Number 42. And this time Lee gives her a rejection. Well, Tinora yet to score here to start the second half. Lead cut to single digits for Defiance. Nice pump fake. Oakley on the drive, dishes. Instead of settling for a three, they're going to continue to work it. I don't want to say the ball is sticking for Tinora, but it seems to be a little slow. I'm not sure if this might be a little bit of fatigue starting to set in from that tough game last night, plus a difficult first half, or if it's just not quite sure how Tinora wants to attack this new in-your-jersey defense by the Bulldogs.
Well, you're right, and we kind of mentioned at halftime the fact that, you know, Tinora had to go 32 minutes from wire to wire last night in that tough loss to Archbold, and the fact that this is the first time they've gone back-to-back nights. But there you see a big free throw to end that scoring drought that lasted just over 5 minutes, going back to the late stages of that second quarter.
Addie Lee, a 42% free throw shooter, but she drains her first. She's got 5 now on the evening. I'm looking at some of Tinora's players breathing a little heavy out the mouth. I mean, Defiance, they're sticky defensively. And 1 for 2 makes it 28-19. On the drive, Rollins. Boy, that was a dangerous baseline pass, but she threaded the needle. Garcia will back it out. She runs it onto the right side on the drive, and I believe that is Chloe Seiler, the young freshman, checking in. I'm gonna have to pull out a pair of binoculars because these dark numbers on the even darker jersey from our spot up here on the mezzanine is tough to pick up. It will be Seiler heading to the free throw line. Charge that foul to number 5, Lee. That's her second. As Seiler puts this one in the books. Seiler, young freshman. 5'10" though. And I'm looking at her sneakers. I'm guessing she's got a little more growing to do as she rattles home her second. Well, look at this. Lead cut to 7. And the anticipation of full court pressure here by Tinora, but what's the whistle? Any idea what happened there?
Delay of game warning that time. I believe Defiance tipped the ball after the free throw.
And now we got a timeout. Fellas anticipated the press coming, and Coach Theo wants to have a talk with his crew. The lead trimmed to just 7 with 4:50 left to go third quarter. We're back with more of the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. Quick timeout with 4:50 left to go. We come out of that first insurance group timeout with Tinora's lead all of a sudden cut to just 7 points, 28-21. Defiance has outscored Tinora 6-1 to open up the second half. We're showing full court pressure. That's just too dangerous of a pass by Eowyn Blanchard, and she wishes she had it back. How many turnovers does that make now in the third quarter?
Well, actually, that's not a turnover. They're fortunate that Defiance tipped
deflected.
that basketball right before it went out of bounds. So a huge break for the Rams.
Very. Lee surrenders it to Blanchard. They'll reverse it. Durfee on the drive and finishes with the right hand. She took a little extra love tap, falls into the ground, but appears to be okay.
Tremendous read by Julia Durfee that time. She recognized she had the right side to herself, no help available.
Well, they get the ball down low. Seiler forces the foul as she went up strong. And I believe Blanchard's going to be the guilty party here for Tinora. That'll be her second.
This is the 4th trip of this third quarter.
They're getting to the line.
The Bulldogs get to the line, so they're doing a great job of trying to work their way back in things. Their intensity has been really good, and maybe they're starting to wear at the Rams a little bit, but again, you can't leave points to the table. You want to cash in.
Now 2 for 6 after the miss. Freshman releases on the second. That's going to be long. Ball being tapped around, and it goes straight to Lee. Post will bring it up the court uncontested. Crosses over. Is she thinking all the way? She is, and left it just a bit short. Rollison, dangerous pass up the court though to Seiler, and it's swatted away. Look at this though, the physicality really picking up here. Do we have a foul? Who's this going against? If it's Blanchard, that's her third. Nope, check it, it's 22, not 12, and that's Durfee. It will be her third, though. And guess what? Back to the line.
Yeah, and they're in the penalty, so it's going to be 2 shots in every foul here on out for the Bulldogs in this third quarter. And we're not even halfway through it yet, but the free throw woes continue.
Yep.
There's another point left on the board there. As they come up empty on the front end.
Trying to gut the deficit to 8. Second is on the way. Talk about shooter's touch for Ramirez. Coy will check in for Tinora. And we'll see, are they going to come out in full court? Looks like they'll pick up in half court pressure. Last time it was token and they all dropped back. We'll wait and see. As a substitution, Hohenberger will check in for Garcia for Defiance.
Well, Defiance needs to stay the course. You know, they don't have to take the lead here in this third quarter, but they just have to keep chipping away, keep putting a lot of pressure on that Rams defense.
Late cut by Blanchard, double teamed. Look out, here comes Rollins. 3-on-1, she can barely control it, and I believe she walked. Yes, she did. Boy, her eyes got so big there.
Tough break, but again, you have to love the defensive intensity here from Defiance, as they're really making it tough for the Rams to take the ball inside. They've not had a lot of touches down low in the paint here in this third quarter. But boy, that was a golden opportunity right there that kind of slipped through the hands.
Lead remains 8, but Tinora has been stymied here in the third quarter. Just 3 total points. Trying to add to it. Lee took a long 3, and it's 1 and done. Rollins with the quick outlet. Seiler rejected by Lee. Is that her second or her third block tonight?
Wow, timed that perfect. Great transition defense by the Rams.
Blanchard into the paint. Nice crossover. Count it! And one coming.
Now that's one way to offset aggressiveness, is by being that aggressor yourself. And that time the Rams, after the big block on the defensive end, were able to turn that around. And now they'll have a chance for the and one. They get the lead back up to double digits.
Foul will be charged to Rollins, trying to complete the 3-point play. It is in and out. So lead remains 10. We're just an extra spring in Defiance's step right now. Hohenberger on the drive and gets the friendly roll.
Wow, big time move by the junior Hohenberger. That was a nifty drive under heavy duress. You got the shooter's touch there.
Drive, dish, to the rack, going up strong and counting it at the other end. Nova Oakley with a chance for the 3-point play.
Yeah, great response by Oakley. And maybe the Rams are starting to get that second wind after they look a little winded the opening 4 minutes of this third quarter, but consecutive drives and one opportunities for Tinora. Gets the lead back to double digits once again.
Front of the iron, it had enough English on it as it crosses over and falls through, and that is Sam Hohenberger's 4th foul. Is she going to stay on the court? No. There will be a substitution. And is that KK Krekel checking in? I believe it is. 35-24 lead back up to 11. Some on-ball pressure right now by Tinora. Man, that was a nasty screen by Seiler. She cuts. I thought for a second they'd miss her. She goes up strong. Loose ball. Nose for it. Rollins sees it go in and out, and now we've got a whistle.
Well, again, you can see Defiance being so aggressive. That time they got a rebound that they would have not picked up in the first half. And even though I think they're going to get whistled for the foul, you know, this is the type of aggressive they need to play with. They're probably not going to win games pretty this year. They're going to have to really get into teams, make it as physical as they can. And now with that foul, both teams will be in a penalty throughout the rest of the third quarter.
With that foul, Krekel has just fouled out. That is her 5th. So she will leave with 3 points at the 2:28 mark.
Well, you can't take them home with you, so you know, I don't mind the coach getting the mileage out of his kids, especially when you're trying to come from behind. That certainly is going to hurt Defiance right there with her out of the ball game. But again, I like how this whole Defiance team here in the second half is really giving everybody their money's worth of the night. They're really getting into it. They're playing hard at both ends.
Well, she's staying on the floor here, but again, the scoreboard shows her for 5, and Coach Brown has yet to come up with a substitution. I'm not sure he's aware of it. The official's now saying, yeah, you're done, and now up and checking in. This is Garcia. So Alexa Garcia will take the court after a delay, and I'm guessing Addison Lee was actually happy to have the extra breather. First is on the way. That's a sweet-looking stroke.
That really is. Great release, good follow-through, tremendous backspin on that shot. Great job bending the knees. That was textbook. We'll see if she can back it up here in the back end.
36-24, this one halfway down, spits out, loose ball. Bodies flying everywhere. Garcia from a rear end. Did she get a timeout? Nope, jump ball. Tinora keeps it. As the Rams will sub in Julia Durfee. Lee will catch a breather. Again, with the physicality of Defiance, and again, the short roster with Emma Bailey not able to go tonight. We weren't sure if Tinora was going to be able to last. They've caught their second wind, and that's just a good aggressive move by Carly Oakley.
It really was. I like how she didn't back away from the contact, and she went right in there and took it strong. And when you get the contact, sure, you're going to get a chance to get to the line. And now Tinora really kind of doing what Defiance was doing the first 4 minutes of this third quarter. Now they're getting to the rack, and they're the first of two up and in. So nice little run here by Tinora. They've now scored 5 consecutive points. Got it back up to a 13-point lead.
Second is on the way, front of the iron, backboard falls through. 38-24. So Tinora took Defiance's best shot to open up this second half, but they have regained form, and that's just past nobody in the corner. As Seiler will check out, McDonald will check back in. I will say this, Coach Brown is developing a fairly deep bench. We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 reserves play tonight. Dribble penetration, kicked out. So we're going to be a little bit more patient now here with under 2 minutes left to go in the quarter. Boys taking a few threes, although granted they've come from the corner. Durfee hasn't really attacked a whole lot. Oh, that's just great job splitting the defense by Carly Oakley. Charged the foul to McDonald. That's her third, and Oakley right back to the charity stripe.
Well, great response here by Tinora. Remember, the Rams were up 17 in that first half. Defiance got down to 7 here midway through this third quarter, but Tinora has found another gear. And right now, they're creating all kinds of stress for this Defiance defense that's had no answer keeping them from going to the rack.
Couple of dribbles.
7 consecutive points for Tinora. That one falls short. Ralston will bring it up.
39-24. Rollins moving quickly. A little bit too far behind the backboard. McDonald's follow was no good. And Tinora survives a couple of opportunities.
Well, great job by Tinora being physical. That time they're able to get physical in the paint, kind of force Defiance in no man's land there underneath the backboard. Made that a tough angle shot. The credit the Rams for really creating that tough position.
Under 90 seconds here in the third quarter. Look, Garcia coming out and harassing the ball, and Coach Theo wants a timeout. Well, they ask for no quarter, and they give none. A $1.16 left to go here in the third quarter. Tinora holding on, but anybody's ball game still. We'll take a quick break. You're watching DCTV Sports. There you get a good look at the Defiance huddle. Coach Lewis, first year, talking things over with his team. They're hanging in there. Right now you kind of get the feeling they're still on a very dangerous high wire with a $1.16 left to go in the third quarter. It is the Consolation Championship of the DPT Classic. 15 points right now, still anybody's ball game, but if you're Tinora, you want to finish up this quarter strong and kind of put your stamp on things.
Yeah, you really do. I think it's important here. You're trying to get better at this stage of the season. So to do that, you have to forget about the scoreboard, go out there and compete on every possession. And you got to flush the last play if it wasn't a good one, and go out and win the next one. They've done that here the last 3 minutes.
To the near corner, 18-footer, long shot, long board. Nice job to cover by Ramirez. 1 minute left to go here, third quarter. Pull a pass to McDonald, who was posting up big, deflected out of bounds. Oakley says they'll have to inbound it on the baseline. Backing it out, picking up her dribble. Rollins comes over to help, backs it out near half court. Off a McDonald's screen, but she didn't penetrate. Instead, kicks it to the corner, and that's a good-looking jump shot. Into the books. First basket from the floor tonight by Garcia.
Yeah, nice job by Garcia. No hesitation whatsoever. Caught that ball on the baseline in the corner and buries it.
Speaking of open from the corner, Oakley can't find the range. It's one and done, and timeout being called by Coach Lewis with 24.5 seconds left to go. We'll take a quick break as well. We'll see what Defiance has in store and what might be their final offensive possession of the third quarter. You're watching DCTV Sports. There you get a good look at the Bulldog huddle. Coach Lewis doesn't seem to be very demonstrative, always under control, very smooth. But he's got his team playing some tight defense tonight.
Yeah, you have to give him credit. I like how his girls really responded to start out that second half. So certainly Defiance made some excellent adjustments. They had a 11-1 run actually at one point in this third quarter, but since that time, Tinora has found that extra stride, and now they're on they were on a 7-0 run to get that separation back to double digits.
Looks like the Bulldogs will work for the final shot of the quarter. See when they start to put their offense in motion. Well, right now, being harassed by Blanchard. They'll take a three from the left wing. It bounces around. Out of bounds, or do we have a foul?
We have a foul on the Rams coming over the top there in that rebound. So great positioning on the backside as Defiance continues to fight for each and every rebound and loose ball here tonight.
Foul will go against Coy. This will send number 23, Eliza Ramirez, to the stripe for a pair, and she drains her first.
Yeah, nice job by Ramirez. Good looking free throw that time, and every point's huge for Defiance. That gets the lead down to 12, and love to close out the quarter with one more.
One and done. Rebound by Durfee, and now the buzzer sounds. Well, it's going to be a 12-point advantage for Tinora as both clubs will catch a breather at the end of the third quarter. Final 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock. We'll take this first insurance group timeout. Final quarter when we return from the Dog Pound. You're watching the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. Final 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock. Coming out of that first insurance group timeout, we'll get you a Mark Moats Ford stats summary here. Matter of fact, let's start with turnovers and points off of turnovers. Scoop, what do you have for both teams right now?
Well, for both teams in the third quarter, they each turned over 5 times, and they each were able to get 2 points off those turnovers. For the game, Tenora's turned over 8 times, Defiance 11 times. But Defiance has scored 9 points off of Tinora turnovers tonight. maybe they're starting to realize their defense could maybe be their best offense if they play with this type of intensity.
Wow, pinball right now. Johnny on the spot. That was about a point-blank shot, but again, a turnover, keeping her back turned, and we've got Tatum Krebs in the ballgame for the first time for Tinora. This will be the 5th opportunity, and Defiance finally makes them pay.
Great possession. I love how they attack the offensive glass, and then Rawlson is able to finish it off. Good start to this 4th quarter.
3 at the other end. It was a quick shot. It's one and done. A little love tap, and it will be a foul against Carly Oakley. Keeping the last half of our Mark Moats Ford stat summary here. Let's take a look at points. Leading all players, we've got a tie for the Rams, and Nova Oakley with 9. Eowyn Blanchard also with 9. Julia Durfee was 7, half a dozen for Addie Lee, 5 for Carly Oakley, and they do have 3 bench points courtesy of Amelia Coy. For the Bulldogs, leading the charge, Samantha Hohenberger with 7, Alexa Garcia with 2. Kendall Krekel has fouled out of this ball game with 3, 4 for Olivia Brenner. They've got some bench scoring tonight, although technically Rollins did start, as this one taps around and falls.
And once again, great possession by Defiance. Plenty of ball movement, and credit to Eliza Ramirez once again for attacking the rim after she came up with a big defensive rebound to the other end.
She's got 4 points on the evening, and the lead trimmed to 8. Still anybody's ball game. Tinora really getting pressured, especially on the ball. Open look at 3, but Blanchard wants to drive. She doesn't want to penetrate, though. She's going to lob this down low to Krebs. Trying to back McDonald down, kicks it right back out. Good inside-outside action, and this time Blanchard drains a Premier Bank three-pointer.
Excellent job by Tinora. They were being bodied up. They played strong with it. They went inside out, got the nice open look from the corner.
42-31, one and done. Rare chance at a fast break. Nobody picking up Oakley, and I thought she would have taken that to the hole. That was a difficult shot by Blanchard. Now Rollins wants to run. 1-on-2. She doesn't care. Crosses over a little hard. Follows her own shot. Will they back it out? They'll reset. Not for long. Top of the key. Long 3. Boy, the roof would have come off this place if Garcia had nailed that. And on the ball, 2 whistles sounding. Both officials talking it over to make sure they saw the same thing. Second foul being charged to Nova Oakley.
A nice job by Alexa Garcia to beat that pass. If she stands flat-footed, and ends up being a turnover and a run out for Tinora, but the fact that she goes to the basketball, she draws the contact, and now 2 quick fouls here against Tinora in this 4th quarter.
Seiler will check in for Garcia for Defiance. 11-point lead. Tinora trying to hang on. Rollins dishes to the far corner. That's a flat shot. It's airmailed, and nice job by Oakley to box out on the weak side. Point guard wants to run. She hasn't looked to score tonight. Lee swings it to the other side. Good ball movement. Good movement without the ball. Although Blanchard in trouble. Did she walk?
Offensive foul.
An offensive foul. Wow. And that'll be her 3rd.
Well, anytime the elbow comes out, it's an automatic foul, whether you make contact or not. And I think certainly that's what the official is signaling.
Coach Thiel and I, we were talking, you were part of that conversation before this game. The old rule used to be if you stuck out a forearm, if that's your space, you've established it. And if the defense comes into you, that should be a foul. He thinks that rule has changed. Do you agree?
Oh, it certainly has changed, no question about it. And right there's a little part of it right there, but a nice turnover forced by that Ram defense. We'll see if they can capitalize.
And Rollins, a frustration foul, reaches in. After being stripped on the turnover, Jamie Rollins picks up her 2nd.
Yeah, that's the foul you want to try to avoid right there. That was simply frustration. You really weren't giving your team advantage. Just keep playing that solid half-court defense. Try to force Tinora maybe away from the rim a little bit more as they keep going downhill.
Oakley on the drive. You can tell by the body language she's unhappy that she missed the shot, but she's going to get 2 here.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about Nova Oakley, the junior. You know, she's got such a high upside. She's got great athleticism, but she handles the ball well. Aggressive going to the rack, and there she connects on the first of two.
Scoop, a bigger point there too is that is McDonald's 4th foul. Now she will stay in. As a matter of fact, Coach Lewis is doubling up. He's bringing in another strong post and Alexandra Fernandez, as this one is good.
This is how Defiance is going to have to play. You know, they're not going to be able to take fouls home with them. They've got to leave it all out there. The fact they just don't have a lot of offense that they can rely on each and every night.
Lead is 13. Timeout by Coach Lewis. We'll break with them. 4:17 left to go in the ball game. You're watching the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. Normally you'd say maybe just outside of crunch time, but with 4:17 left to go in the 4th quarter, and if you're Defiance down by 13, I think to say you've got at least 1 foot in crunch time right now. We welcome you back to the Consolation Championship of the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. Brent Balbinot, Scoop Miller saying thanks for joining us. Deep bench, fouls to give, but at the same time, if you are Defiance, you still need to find some offense.
You do, and you want part of that offense to come through defense, but they have to lengthen this game out by getting Tinora in the penalty where they can score points with the clock stopped.
Rollins spots up for 3. It was on the money, but it was a little long. Loose ball kicks out to Oakley.
A nice check out by Oakley. Textbook box out, and it pays off.
Well, Durfee, I thought, was going to drive, but instead they'll kick it out, run some clock. It's definitely the Rams' friend right now. Lee, oh, she picked up her dribble and then realized, I wish I had it back. Oakley, little 3-man weave action in the top of the key here.
Yeah, right now they're going 5 out, which should open up some dribble drive opportunities.
It'll open up a 3 on the wing, but it's in and out. Durfee biting her lower lip. Defiance gets the stop they wanted on the drive. That's just a secondary break, but the bunny missed. Following it up, that's going to be Seiler, the freshman, a little long, and Defiance wishes they had that one back.
Tremendous find there by Samantha Hohenberger. She made a beautiful pass. And again, 2 points kind of left on the table there. Defiance would like to have that one back.
In between the circles, Oakley, top of the key. Well, they are baiting Nova Oakley to shoot. And right now, Tenora's not going to bite. Running their offense, but being patient. Dribble penetration. McDonald gave her a hip. And the whistle sounds, traveling the call.
Yeah, good hustle and defense that time by Defiance, but once you get on a loose ball on the floor and you roll over, travel will be the call, and that time Rollins getting whistled for it.
Whistle sounds. Do we have a foul prior to the inbound here?
That's going to be an offensive foul,
wow.
So that's as good as a turnover.
Blanchard now picks up her 4th. And ironically, that's the Rams' 4th. Bounce pass, down low, good look, but that's also just a great job to get positioned by Fernandez.
Yeah, great execution, and Defiance is starting to gain some confidence at the offensive end.
Down by 11, they're going to keep pressure on the ball. It looks like they're going to get another turnover, or are they? Jump ball, and Tinora will keep it. Look, the Rams shouldn't be surprised here. Defiance is going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at them in the final 2.5 minutes. You got to be boss with the ball.
Yeah, right now they're going to do some offense, defense substitutions. And again, they're going to keep burning some fouls up to maybe lengthen this game out. But the margin of error continues to shrink as this 4th quarter unwinds.
Good ball movement. Look at this, driving in, getting a great look, but Blanchard can't finish. Well, if Defiance is going to make a move, it's got to start now as we come up on 2 minutes left to go in the game. Stop and pop. Iron unkind for Hohenberger.
Now, good look by Hohenberger. Had a wide open shot and just catches the back of the iron. Big rebound by the Rams.
That's a good piece of dribbling, and that's a smart move by Lee not to put up a shot. Come out and make them foul you. Boy, in the last 3 trips down the court, Defiance has left a potential 4, possibly 5 points off the board. It could be just a 7-point game right now.
Defiance has to really extend things right now as the clock continues to wind away, and Defiance still has 2 fouls to burn here before the Rams are in the penalty.
And right now, Tinora just trying to put on their best Harlem Globetrotters dribbling exhibition right now. Defiance has got to come out and foul. Precious seconds ticking off the clock. Tenora's almost wasted a full minute this trip down the court alone. And almost a steal. Now with an open lane going all the way in, and now the foul.
Yeah, you would like that foul to have been maybe in the backcourt, bringing it up. Again, with 2 fouls to give, you have to be aggressive going for the steal. And that time, credit to Tinora. I thought that was very cerebral that time in the half court, knowing that they've got the lead, the clock's their friend, and there they cash in on the first of 2, so the lead goes back to 12, which is where we were at the halftime break.
And that's exactly how many points Nova Oakley has. She had 9 at the half last night. She finished with 9 as she drains this one. Nova Oakley with 13, and she is making a good push for the Stikeman Automotive Group Player of the Game tonight. On the drive, dribble penetration. Nice dish to the far corner. And right now they just can't buy a basket. Hohenberger had a good look, couldn't find the range. And is there confusion? It looks like this is off at Tinora, but the inbound will come from the far corner. Garcia will do the honors. They've got to hustle. Good ball reversal. Trying to get an open look in the corner, nothing doing. Instead, they'll flash to the middle of the paint. That's great ball movement. Hohenberger puts in the 8-footer. Timeout on the floor with 43 and 1/10 seconds left to go. The lead is cut to 11. Right now, Tinora hanging on. We'll take a break. We'll bring you home on the other end of this. You're watching the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. There you see the huddle around Coach Lewis for Defiance. They only have 43 seconds left to try and make a miracle run here as Tinora hanging on 46-35. Brent Balvin alongside Scoop Miller, who was jamming out to Chuck Berry and Johnny B. Good on the PA system during that last timeout.
Well, they've always got great music over here at the Taj Mahal. Never disappointed coming over here.
Well, right now, Tinora undoubtedly going to be facing full court pressure from Defiance. But if you don't get an immediate steal, if you're the Bulldogs, you've got to foul, don't you?
Yeah, you have to foul right away. If you don't get the steal, you have to lengthen this game out.
And they've still got 2 to give, although they are yet to foul, and it pays off on the steal. Can they pay off here with a basket? Middle of the paint, yes they can. Hohenberger now with 11 on the night. And the lead cut to 9. Cutting a triple team and almost a turnover by Oakley, but a foul comes just before it. And Tinora just dodged a huge bullet.
Boy, they really did. And again, this is how Defiance is learning they're going to need to play. They need to play with this type of urgency.
Absolutely.
In the first quarter with 8 minutes to go and not wait till their backs are to the wall. But again, I think it's a learning experience. This team certainly has improved from a night ago.
Backing it out, heads up play by Nova Oakley. They've got a fouler. Rollinson does just that. In my book, that's her first. We'll wait and see. It's team now number 5. So 2 shots coming here.
Yeah, and Rollinson has to be careful there. Last thing you want that to be is an intentional foul where they're going to get 2 free throws and the ball back. You know, she was just trying to stop the clock, but you have to make an attempt to go for the ball and not just try to grab someone's jersey.
Boy, Oakley has been near perfect. She is 10 of 11 from the free throw line tonight. That makes the lead 10. That makes the lead 11. That's what you want in your guards, especially come crunch time. As a quick three at the other end is off the mark. Man, there's always a scrum underneath that cylinder. Shot is up, partially blocked, and I believe Garcia is going to the line.
Yeah, I like how Defiance is playing intelligent. You know, they knew they just had to take a quick three, so nothing wrong that three they took, but they continue to hound that offensive glass, and now they'll have a chance to get some second chance points. The first one rims out.
Alexa Garcia doing a lot of board work, looking for her third point as she is now 0 for 3 from the charity stripe. It's been anything but. And halfway down, it kicks out. Rebound. Defiance has got to foul quickly, and they do. Oh no, is it going to be a jump ball? Either way, the arrow still stays with Tinora, doesn't it? Yeah, the arrow's pointing to Tinora. Defiance is inbounding. Now, wait a minute here. The arrow points towards Tinora, and the official signaling that, and they'll get it straightened out. Inbounding. 4 seconds. Well, Defiance is playing tight, but they're not fouling. And Oakley will just dribble it out. They had to earn it, but the Rams hang on. 11 points the difference, 48-37. And with the win, Tinora picks up the consolation prize here at the DPT Classic and also goes a game above 500 at 3-2. The Bulldogs, well, something to build on, I think would probably be what Coach Lewis would say, but they're still looking for their first win as they fall to 0-7. We're going to take a quick First Insurance Group timeout. When we come back, it's the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center post-game show. Don't you go anywhere. It's the DPT Classic on DC TV Sports. We welcome you back to the Dog Pound. The Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show is now underway. They put 15 minutes on the clock. That is all that's in between us and the championship game of the DPT Classic as the Pilots of Ayersville and the Blue Streaks of Archbold getting set to do battle. Brent Palpinot alongside Scoop Miller. We are going to get our Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show started here. Let's start it with a look at your Mark Motorsports stat summary. Again, we stress these are unofficial, but we think we're fairly accurate. Scoop, you were keeping track of turnovers and points off of turnovers. What does your paper tell you?
Well, the final tally on turnovers for the game, Tinora turned it over 13 times. Defiance turned it over 14 times. Both teams were able to get 11 points off those turnovers. Brent, the stat I like about that is Tinora turned it over just 3 times the first half, but with that added intensity and pressure for Defiance in that second half, credit the Bulldogs. They forced 10 second half turnovers.
Wow.
Something they certainly can build off going forward.
It ends up being a wash basically in the point category, but you made a point. Scoop, if Defiance is going to compete, if they're going to win this season, they're going to have to do it starting at that end of the court.
No question about it, and I think that's something they really can build off here tonight because they saw the results of their added pressure, of their tenacity there in the second half. They actually outscored Tinora 22-21 that second half, but they're not in it for moral victories.
No.
They have to find a way to put 4 quarters together, but if they can come out with that type of intensity, they're going to find themselves in positions to win games down the stretch.
Let's run down the scoring totals for you. Let's start first for the Bulldogs of Defiance, led by Samantha Hohenberger with 11 points. She was the only Bulldog in double figures, and really nobody else was close. But I would say this, there was some bench scoring this evening, almost double digits. Caroline McDonald actually got the starting nod at center. She finished with 4th and was a force inside. Eliza Ramirez with 4. Chloe Seiler with 2, and Alexandra Fernandez with 2. Jamie Rollins finishes the game with 3. She normally has come off the bench, but she was a starter tonight. 4 points for Olivia Brenner off the bench, 3 for Kendeline Krekel, and 2 for, again, point guard Bella Rollison, who also came off the bench, and Alexa Garcia finishes with the deuce. On the flip side for the Rams, leading all scorers, Nova Oakley with 15. She had 6 at the half. She finished a perfect 6 for 6 in the fourth quarter from the free throw line to help salt this one away. One other player in double figures for the Rams, Eowyn Blanchard with a dozen. 7 points for Julia Durfee, 6 for starting center Addison Lee, 5 for starting point guard Carly Oakley, and they got 3 off the bench in the form of a 3 from Amelia Coy. Those are your Mark Motes Ford stats summary. We're going to take one final break of our our Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center post-game show. We'll be back with our Steichman Automotive Group Player of the Game right after this. You are watching live coverage of the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center post-game show. We'll put a wrap on it with the alongside Scoop Miller. Of course, we've got the championship in just a bit under 10 minutes as Archbold and Ayersville will do battle. Time now, though, for our Steichman Automotive Group Player of the Game. Look, you could go in a couple of different directions here. The Rams did have 2 players in double figures, and Addison Lee, despite just having a half a dozen points, played a solid game defensively. I've had her unofficially for at least 3 blocks. But Nova Oakley with 15 points. She had 6 at the half, but Scoop, just as impressive, maybe even more so, was 10 of 11 from the free throw line and a perfect 6 for 6 when it really counted in the closing minutes of the fourth quarter.
Well, you're right. I loved how she played. You know, she forced Defiance to go to their bench with their aggressive play and her ability to get to the free throw line, as you mentioned there. So when she plays that way, not only does that put stress on that defense, it also is going to free up her teammates. So what a performance tonight by the junior Nova Oakley, as she really was a game changer here tonight.
So congratulations going out to Nova. Andrew Thiel and company now back above the 500 mark as the Rams are 3-2. The Bulldogs arguably with their best effort so far this season, but they fall to 0-7 by a final of 48-37. That'll do it for the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center post-game show. Don't you go anywhere. We're about 8.5 minutes away from the championship game. We'll reset our Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show for game number 2 tonight. On the other end of this, you're watching the DPT Classic on DC TV Sports. Well, we're resetting. Why not? We got a doubleheader here tonight. As the Consolation Championship is now in the books, time for the big trophy. So we welcome you back to the Dog Pound, Defiance High School Gymnasium. It will be the championship of the DPT Holiday Classic here on DCTV Sports. We're resetting the Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller as the Ayersville Pilots at 5-0, led by Tim Nicely in his 5th year at the helm. Taking on the Blue Streaks of Archbold, they are 4-2, led by Brian Ziegler, who's in his 16th year at the school. Again, the Blue Streaks won a tight one over Tinora last night, 48-42, and it was Ayersville just taking it to Defiance, 50-21. But I don't think just on paper tonight, Scoop, we're going to have a tight matchup. I think on the court we're going to have an equally tight matchup. Both these teams mirror each other quite a bit. Very well coached, very disciplined, very similar styles of play.
Well, you're exactly right. You know, both these teams awfully hungry to get this championship here tonight, and both these teams very familiar with each other. You know, last season Ayersville defeated the Streaks 40-29 in the championship of the Defiance Physical Therapy Classic, and you know that's been on Archbold's mind ever since. And I think both teams feeling confident they can get the job done here tonight.
We're going to take a look here very shortly at the Baker Schindler Company starting lineups. We'll have the opening tip-off from F&M Bank in about 3 minutes and 44 seconds. I don't believe we're going to have the national anthem for the second game, but normally that would be brought to you by the Defiance Elks Lodge number 147. So let's just go ahead and get it out of the way right now. You know what? Let's take another quick timeout. Let's give Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac their props. And when we come back, we'll have the Baker Schindler Company starting lineups. You're watching the championship game of the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. There you get a good look from the mezzanine level. Right now, you take a look at the Pilots taking their shoot around. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. Championship game, the 2023 DPT Classic, Holiday Classic, I should say. Time now for a look at your Baker Schindler Company starting lineups. Let's go ahead and start with the Blue Streaks of Archbold. No surprises. Matter of fact, no changes for either team from last night. At the point, Alana Pedraza. She's only 5'3". She is a junior, but she is a little keg of dynamite. Just an incredible spark on the court. And she didn't look to shoot a lot last night, but Coach Ziegler said she could if she wanted to. She finished with 2 points, but she was more of a distributor last night. I don't want to say as she goes, so goes the team, but she is definitely the straw that stirs the drink.
Yeah, she's certainly a spark plug for that team, and she can kind of dictate the pace, which I think is going to be huge in this game coming up, as both teams kind of have a little bit of contradicting styles here. Whichever team can maybe force their will on the other will have that advantage here in this championship.
Grace Meyer will be the other starting guard, a 5'4" junior. Last night she had a quiet 12 points, but she was very effective, especially in the fourth quarter, shooting 3 of 4 from the charity stripe. Charlie Forward was our player of the game last night, and did she have a good one? She had 8 points at the half. She finished with 18, and she was 4 of 4 from the charity stripe on a night where the Blue Streaks hit 17 of 18, Scoop.
Yeah, and they really need Charlie Forward to be big again here tonight, because that's where they're going to have their toughest matchup, is going to be inside, down on the blocks, and certainly Forward gives them that dimension that could be the difference here tonight.
Mila Garricky, a 5'9" sophomore forward, also in double figures last night with 14. And Nia Grimm. Nia, I promise we'll never mispronounce your name again, but Nia Grimm getting the starting nod at center. Nia, again, not traditionally a center, but they put her down low quite a bit. She finished with a pair. For the Pilots at 5-0, Tim Nicely in his 5th year at the helm. You talk about just a tremendous performance last night. They got out early and they never let up. Starting point guard will be Mabel McGuire. McGuire, a 5'6" senior. McGuire last night finished with 2, but she played solid defense. At the off guard, a 5'8" senior, Kirsten Mannon. Mannon finished with 8 points. At the swing, Kendra Waldron. Waldron, a 5'6" sophomore, last night finishing with 7. And then your 1-2 punch. At power forward, Allie Schindler. Allie Schindler technically stands in number 14 at 5'10". She's a first-team all-conference player from a season ago. All she did last year was average 13 points and 7 boards per contest. Again, first-team all-conference. And back after losing last season to a knee injury. Again, standing in at 6'1". She plays taller, Taylor Kraft. Taylor Kraft at 6'1". She is an all-state volleyball player. As a matter of fact, she's going to play Division III volleyball. She has several offers. She has yet to make an announcement. She didn't score a ton last night, Scoop. She didn't need to. She finished with 4 points, but she had 4 blocks and altered easily another handful of shots.
Well, that's her game. Before she was injured her sophomore year, she averaged over 8 rebounds and over 4 blocks a game. I mean, those are video game type numbers. You're talking 4.1 blocks per game. So she has the ability to change shots, to swat them away. And again, I think that's where Ayersville has to make their hay tonight, is going to Schindler and Kraft on the interior.
We talked a little bit. Those, again, are your Baker Schindler Company starting lineups. We talked with both head coaches prior to this one. Again, Coach Ziegler for Archbold simply said, we're on pace, especially without Thiel. A season-ending injury to McKenna Thiel. She injured her shoulder last spring in softball. They thought it had healed. It did not. So she is a coach from the sidelines. But basically, he said, we don't want necessarily a fast-paced game, but we don't want a slow-paced game. He said it's got to be medium tonight. I know that salsa isn't exactly for everybody's taste, but what we saw last night for Archbold was simply no wasted motion, nobody not moving without the basketball. It was just a really smooth performance last night.
Yeah, they want to replicate that again tonight. You know, they really want to try to force the tempo on Ayersville, try to control that tempo. Rebounding is going to be important for the Streaks tonight, and certainly points from their defense, something they've been so good at over the years.
As the tip-off, courtesy of F&M Bank. And we are underway here in the championship game of the DPT Classic. Trying immediately to go down low. Johnny on the spot, and it pays to be 6'1" with those long arms as Taylor Kraft puts the Pilots on the board first.
Great job by Ayersville trying to get touches in the interior. Excellent start for the Pilots.
Trying to go down low, and the ball swatted away. There's the first of what will probably be several blocks this evening for Kraft.
Yeah, just incredible how she is that rim protector inside. That allows you to get a little bit more ball pressure on the perimeter where you know you've got help inside with the 6'1" senior.
Up top, long three is long off of Garricke's fingertips, and it will be out of bounds. On the flip side for Ayersville, we had a chance to talk with Coach Nicely. He said transition D is going to be absolutely crucial tonight. He said he doesn't necessarily believe that Archbold wants to play as slow as Coach Ziegler says, and he goes, if we don't get back, it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, I think that's going to be awfully important for the Pilots. The other thing is going to be points in the paint. And here's another opportunity as they get the putback.
Kraft.
So great job by Kraft once again. She has 4 quick points.
Trying to move quickly on the transition, and a foul is taking it in. Charlie Forward. Charlie Forward was our player of the game last night. She had 18 points, and she got many of them just like that in transition.
And this is how Archbold needs to counter. They need to get that up-tempo game. They need to try to get in a track meet here tonight with the Pilots. And there you see Charlie Forward string music on the front end of the 2-shot foul. So great job by the sophomore forward to get to the stripe.
Foul will be charged against Mabel McGuire as only 1 of 2. Strong rebound by Schindler. Schindler, while technically not a guard, we heard Coach Nicely say he has no problem with her bringing the ball up the court against pressure.
Yeah, he felt awfully confident with their ball handling ability. I think that has to be maybe the biggest concern, the fact that Archbold loves to pressure the basketball. They love to extend that pressure into the backcourt.
4-1, almost 6-1. Stop and pop jumper off the mark by Waldron. And wow, Kraft, a heads-up play there by stepping back and allowing the ball to go out of bounds instead of trying to save it in an inopportune position on the court.
Yeah, it really was. That time, Nia Grimm did a great job of kind of bodying up to her and forced her to save that basketball.
Inbounds, nobody comes out to guard the arc, and Kendra Waldron makes them pay with an Premier Bank three-pointer.
Boy, that's not a good sign for Archbold right there, as Ayersville comes in shooting below 10% on the season beyond the arc, but that one true and through.
Pilots coming out looking very strong in the opening here as that ball partially blocked. Forward got it swatted, and it's one and done. Kraft, boy, look at the ball. It doesn't stick at all. Just smooth. Again, smooth.
Well, I love how they put Kraft in the middle of the floor where they can kind of be that zone breaker right there. Get the ball to the big girl where she's got the whole court to look at.
McGuire backs it out, now hustles in. Got a good look, but couldn't catch anything. On the weak side board, Schindler had it. She's into a double team, trying to rip through. Do we have a foul or a jump ball? A jump ball, and the arrow points to Archbold.
Great job by Grace Meyer. You know, that time she stayed tough, kept good ball pressure there, forced the tie-up. The arrow belongs to the Streaks.
Pedraza will bring it across the timeline. I think she's going to be an under-the-radar key tonight, the point guard for Archbold. We'll wait and see. As on the drive forward, wow, that was a nifty move, and she went right at Taylor Kraft.
Yeah, and that might be the other one right there. Great job there by Charlie Forward. No hesitation, going downhill to the rack.
Nice dish by Schindler. Nice baseline cut by McGuire, and a whistle sounds. Who are they going to charge this to?
They're going to charge it on the
Grace
floor.
Meyer.
Either way, I think that is on Meyer. Just the first team foul here for Archbold.
Lob pass out in between the rings. Schindler wants to run some offense. They'll swing it left side. Waldron couldn't find the range from beyond the arc, and it's out of bounds.
Well, so important for Archbold to keep the Pilots to one and done. They're going to have to really establish the glass on both ends.
Right now out in the man-to-man defense. My goodness, that was a physical screen being laid by Nia Grimm. But they turn it over.
Well, there's that pressure from Taylor Kraft to help out and change that shot there from Pedroza.
Going into the low block, Schindler didn't quite get a handle on it. Ball just doesn't stick right now for the Pilots, though. Great perimeter passing, great interior passing, and that is how you break down a defense off the drive. Kirsten Mannon with the assist. Allie Schindler with her first basket of the night.
Tremendous find there by Mannon. She drops a dime inside, and again, Ayersville getting plenty of interior touches. Something that's going to be so big for Ayersville if they want to defend this classic title here tonight.
Oh, nice give and go. That was absolutely textbook. Inside Grimm and moving hard to the basket, and that's just beautiful.
Great find by Nia Grimm. That time,
Meyer.
Part of that Princeton offense there to find that backdoor cutter.
Ooh, telegraphing her pass. Schindler turns it over, and this was where Forward was so effective last night, but better transition D right now by the Pilots as they get back. And again, into the paint. This time, Garricky, and did she force that up, or was that the right call or right decision to try and force the official to make a foul?
Yeah, I think that's the right call. You know, when you get the ball in point blank, you can't kick it out. You have to attack the rim. And credit Ayersville, they came up with a piece of the basketball. And now a good answer by the Pilots at the other end as they're going to head to the charity stripe here. I believe that's going to be Kirsten Mannon.
Yep. Nia Grimm, the guilty party for the Blue Streaks. Mannon to the stripe. First is up and through. Kirsten Mannon, just a 33% free throw shooter on the season. Granted, it is early.
Yeah, Ayersville's a team coming into this championship game just 52.5% on the season, but that time,
she looked good there.
Mannon is 2 for 2. Gets the lead back to 6 for the Pilots.
She will check out as Morgan Kiesler will check in. Still tight man-to-man. Noticing, though, the switching. It looks like 1 through 3. The guards and kind of the swings are switching, but they're just kind of playing Kraft kind of in the middle there. Break this defense down for us, Scoop.
Well, I like how they're doing. They're really sagging off Nia Grimm, who's really not going to be one of those perimeter threats. So I think it's awfully important that they give plenty of help defense, because Archbold, with their athleticism, they're going to try to spread you apart. They're going to move very well without the basketball. They're going to make a lot of rim runs. There's pressure defense from Pedroza there to force the turnover.
Laney Sheets, palm the basketball. As Meyer will check out, and they'll go with a slightly smaller lineup. As checking in, Alana Perez. Into the high blocks. Again, this defense just kind of gummed up. They're identifying around the perimeter. They're just kind of sagging a couple of their bigger players in the lane. I don't know what you'd call this, kind of an amoeba-style defense? What would you title this?
Well, it's just a lax, really, man-to-man. They're covering out the three-point shooters, which they need to do, but they're giving plenty of help away from the basketball to take away those driving lanes, something that the Streaks had a lot of success with last night against Tinora, and that come-from-behind win.
Just inside the arc. Quick spot up. Just a bit short, though, by Nora Rupp. So the lead remains 6 as the Pilots bring it into the front court. Schindler thought she was stopping and popping. Instead goes down low to Kraft, and Kraft picks up the foul. I believe that's going against forward. She was raising her hand.
Well, that's nice to see for Ayersville. Is that combination right there. Very unselfish to each other, and that time, great job breaking down that blue streak defense. But the first of 2 from Kraft hits the back of the iron, rims out, so the lead remains at 6 for Ayersville.
She is just a 40% free throw shooter. Second is on the way, and that's also flat and long. And look at that, Pedraza with a quick outlet. Perez was there, but again, good transition D by the Pilots. Forward on the drive, got a little too far deep, and again, maybe shot wasn't blocked, but certainly altered by Kraft.
Yeah, I think Kraft, if she didn't block it, she's definitely changed the direction of that basketball.
Forward thinking about it. They're not what you'd call in your jersey around the arc, but they're playing an arm's length off and really doing a good job of cutting off driving lanes. This Pilot defense is impressive. Forward will be satisfied with a long 3. Long board kicks out. It's one-on-one, coast to coast. Nice crossover. Count it, and one coming for Kendra Waldron.
What a big-time play by the sophomore Waldron. And again, that's something Ayersville will do. I don't think teams kind of realize that as much, but certainly talking to head coach Tim Nicely before the game, he went over and over. When that break opportunity arises, we're going after it. You know, we're not going to walk it up against anybody. Boy, that's a big play by Waldron, and she connects on the end one. So right now, an excellent start here for Ayersville, as they've got a 9-point advantage here as we near the 1-minute mark of this opening quarter.
Coach Tim Nicely told us in the pregame, he goes, we don't want to run. He goes, we feel that's not our strength. He said the salsa should be medium, but right there, Waldron put a few hot peppers in that one.
Yeah, that was a little habanero right there. She was going downhill from the get-go. You saw that right away when she got the ball in the backcourt. And when the Streaks were tardy picking her up, she took advantage. What a heady play by the sophomore.
Yeah, she made that decision at half court. Open for 3. Getting her feet set. McGuire launches, no good. Offensive board, and a great extra pass down low. Laney Sheets the beneficiary.
Great job by Ariel Brown that time to spot Sheets inside. So second chance points starting to mount here for Ayersville.
Driving, stopping, popping from 15. That's a nice looking J by Garicki.
Yeah, that time Garicki was able to come off that ball screen, and a mistake by that Pilot defense. That's something you have to take away from Archbold. Garicki, just a proven shooter. You cannot let her kind of shoot in rhythm like that, step into that shot. Great job that time by Miley, the sophomore, to get a much-needed hoop there for Archbold.
18 seconds left to go in the quarter. Pass was a little high. High blocks was open, but McGuire just couldn't find it. Oh, that's a nifty pass. That was all or nothing. Garicki pays to be a little taller. All 5'9" of her as she drops it down, but look at this. Fast break at the other end. And do we have a foul called before the buzzer sounds? I believe we might have.
And credit Ayersville, you know, instead of holding their head down after giving that easy deuce in transition to Archbold, great ball movement, great clock awareness, and Waldron drops a dime there, and they will beat the horn. They'll have 2 opportunities with Taylor Kraft, the 6'1 senior, heading to the charity stripe.
She's a lonely young woman. The only player on the court right now as that buzzer sounds. Everybody, well, right now, I don't think there's any need for Archbold to drop back defensively. First shot is up and rims it out, and you see a little bit of sign of disgust on her face as she forces a smile. The foul was charged to Garricky. And Kraft will try and hit 1 of 4 here in the first quarter, and she does. So now we're officially, are we not? Yeah, they're putting 8 minutes up, but we should be getting our end of first quarter break, correct?
Yes, that's the end of the first quarter, and a good one for the Ayersville Pilots as they take a 17-9 advantage. But there
do
must
we have
have
a
been
technical?
a technical on top of it.
Oh my gosh. All right, so Allie Schindler will head to the free throw line and calmly connects on her first. I didn't see the tee. It must have been away from the ball. Any idea what happened?
Did not see it as well, but that's a big play because Ayersville now should get the basketball to start the second quarter, even though it was the streak's arrow.
So that should be the end of the first quarter. We'll try and sort out what happened, but boy, what a difference. All of a sudden, a 10-point Pilots lead as we head into the second quarter. Don't you go anywhere. We'll have it for you. The DPT Holiday Classic Championship game on DCTV Sports. Well, right there you get a good look at, let's just say, a less than happy Coach Ziegler. He got his 2 cents and then some in between the quarter break over. We were being told that the foul, the technical, was called on Coach Ziegler. And what ends up happening is 3 of 4 free throws made by the Pilots, dead time, and now all of a sudden they take a 10-point lead into quarter number 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was upset about, but clearly that was a foul there that was before the horn. But he's still right now in Jeff Ressler's ear as we're waiting to spot the ball to start the second quarter. He hardly talked to the girls at all during that timeout, but Archbold will inbound it as Addie Kinsman will bring it up the streaks.
All right, now, if you are Archbold, look, you're within arm's reach here. You just need to flush that first 8 minutes and start anew. Is that the best way to put it?
Yeah, you just have to win that next play mentality. And, again, this is a 4-quarter game, so certainly the streaks, as we saw last night, a team more than capable from come from behind. And right now, I think Coach Ziegler just trying to rally the troops a little bit after Ayersville came out with an impressive opening 8 minutes.
And they throw it away. Schindler with the steal on the inbounds. But I tell you what, credit Belle McGuire for being all over Pedraza because they couldn't get it to her. And that's just great ball movement. Talk about a secondary break. And Taylor Kraft lays it up and in.
Now, right now, Ayersville getting too many touches inside, too many points in the paint. They're going to get Charlie forward on the double dribble. So consecutive turnovers by Archbold here in the opening 34 seconds. And Ayersville trying to get some separation early.
Wow. Did anybody that bought a ticket tonight expect this? Right now, the Pilots just putting on a clinic. Schindler picks up her dribble about 25 feet out, but they come to help her. Waldron really being dogged by forward. Now they put the ball on the floor. Great look inside, and that is just poetry in motion. Kirsten Mannon with her first basket from the floor.
And what a find by Schindler. And once again, points in the paint for Ayersville, something they've really made their hay on here tonight.
Pedraza dishes off to Ford. Slowing it down now, Garricky tried the give and go. The on-ball defense, though, has just been fantastic for the Pilots in the early going as forward. One and done. Kraft cleans up underneath. She'll set a screen. Schindler kicks it into a second gear. On the floor, stop and pop from 17, and check that, from 7, and she's fouled. This one's going to go against Ruffer for Archbold.
Yeah, that time Nora Ruffer, you just cannot get into the elbow of the shooter. That's something that the officials are going to call every time. And Ayersville once again back at the charity stripe. We expected Archbold to maybe have an advantage, get to the foul line with their aggressiveness, but right now you have to credit the Pilots because they have been the team that's really attacked the interior, got touches inside. Result, the Pilots have been at the foul line, and right now the run continues for Ayersville. That's 9 straight points after the technical foul by Archbold.
Timeout being called on the floor as Schindler, a 70% free throw shooter, hits both. It's 25-9 with 6:26 left to go in the first half. Quick timeout. Back with more of the DPT Holiday Classic Championship game on DCTV Sports. .26 showing on the scoreboard clock. We welcome you back. Second quarter action. Addie Kinsman checking in, bringing the ball up the court for Archbold. As the 5-0 Pilots of Ayersville right now just taking it to the Blue Streaks by 16. Still plenty of time. Shot for 3, and that's going to be a foul on the shot. Alana Perez will head to the charity stripe. And who are they charging this one to?
I think that's going to be Kirsten Mannon.
It is.
That time the Pilots came out in a 3-2 zone defense. Mannon a little bit tardy coming over. Bumped on the arm. Excellent call. And now 3 free throws coming up for Archbold as that one there ends a 9-0 Pilot run.
This is what the Blue Streaks need, a chance to cut into the deficit with the clock stopped, and they're free, although that one halfway down and kicks out. Perez saw some time last night off the bench. Didn't score, but played some good defense, and she hits 2 out of 3. And is this going to be token pressure, or is this going to be solid pressure? They've only got 1 up, and right now trying to go over the top of it. Slowing it down, McGuire. Waldron, nice dribble penetration and dish, but the pass was a little low. Archbold looks like they're picking up the defensive pressure, and there's going to be a foul, and Garicki just picks up her second.
Yeah, not a bad foul by Molly Garicki that time. The fact that Archbold visibly has picked up their intensity. Coach Ziegler, I think, is fired up the troops here enough, and they want to try to come out. Right now, Archbold has 0 points from their defense. That's something that has to change if Archbold wants to work their way back to this contest.
Pass comes in. Schindler keeping a waist-high dribble. McGuire gets back out in between the circles. They're trying to double-team the ball. That's a dangerous lob pass down low to Schindler. Look who's there. Kraft misses the bunny. Schindler is the 3rd time a charm. It is.
Big-time move by Schindler. A lot of girls will get a rebound down there and force it up quickly. She was able to gather her stuff, got squared up. There's a great drive once again by Archbold, starting to pick up the pace a little bit as Perez gets fouled, shooting the mid-range jumper, and she'll head back to the charity stripe.
At 5'1", the smallest player on the floor, but she's been the most aggressive the last 2 trips down the court for the Blue Streaks. We'll see if she can connect. She does. Right now she is 3 out of 4 from the line. Let's see if she can make it 4 out of 5.
I think Archbold looking to go maybe to a quicker lineup here to do a little run and jump, trying to get a lot of ball pressure.
Looks like, is this a 1-2-2 here, or this straight up man?
Man to man, look for them to jump out of it if they can.
Well, Schindler breaks it and breaks it relatively easily, and McGuire kind of got caught in no man's land, thinking about passing, thinking about shooting, and it's off of her knee.
Well, that's what pressure will do. Archbold's picked up the pressure, and that's the first Pilot turnover this second quarter. So now Archbold trying to convert at the other end.
Long three after the attempt at the steal. Meyer can't find it. It's one and done as Schindler being harassed right now by Pedraza. Off a Kraft screen, keeping her dribble into a second gear on the drive. Is it going to be a charge? Yes, it is. That's just a great job by Meyer to come over and anticipate and get set.
Well, that's a big time play by Grace Meyer, the 5'4" junior. You know, that time, that's tough math. When Schindler takes it to the rack, good luck trying to stop it, but Meyer comes in. What a heady play. And that's going to result in another pilot turnover. Archbold trying to chip away.
Under 5 left to go here in the first half. Lead still remains double digits. Pedraza on the drive, cut off. Up top, Garricky for 3. It's in and out. And who tracked that one down? That was Pedraza. Garricky, little stop and go. Kraft with another block. Look at this. Oh, mighty might. Alana Perez in the land of the Giants showing no fear. Her first basket from the floor.
Oh, what a lift. Alana Perez has been here tonight for Archbold. That's a big-time move, taking it right at the big girl Kraft.
Down low, trying to rip through. McGuire had it partially blocked. Kraft's follow no good, and stoppage of play. Boy, he is getting physical right now. And they're going to call this foul against Perez.
And that's going to be the second foul. The board marked Charlie forward on that, but
he showed 11, right? I thought he showed 11. We'll have to double check. McGuire will dribble it out in between the rings, really being off a nice screen, cuts through the double team and can't finish. Taps it out, or was she out of bounds?
She was out of bounds. She was not reestablished, so excellent call there by the officials. And great job by Archbold. That physicality is starting to throw those shots off a little bit here for Ayersville. So plenty of time for the Streaks here to come back. And right now, it looks like the Pirates have gone back to that soft man-to-man, helping out inside.
Perez reverses the ball forward, who's been very quiet in the early going, just 3 points. Trying to reverse the ball. Going for the steal, and McGuire picks up the foul about 28 feet out from the basket. That'll be her second.
Yeah, that time maybe just a little bit too aggressive for McGuire. As Grace Meyer, you know, when she's pressured like that, she has the ability to go downhill, attack the rack, and that time that's the last foul for the Ayersville to give here before Archbold's in the penalty.
Forward was stripped, or was she? I think they're going to call for a substitution here. And who's checking out? McGuire with those 2 fouls will have a seat. Flirting with 5. They just do get it in. Perez from the far corner. Again, top half of that. Is this a straight 2-3 zone now? Is that what we're looking at?
This is 2-3 that they typically
deflection. It's going to be 3-on-1. It doesn't matter as going coast to coast, laying it up and in. Laney Sheets with her 5th point of the evening.
Tremendous finish by Laney Sheets with the left hand, and points from that defense by the Pilots.
Lead back up to 14. Perez testing the waters. Garricky cut off in the high blocks. Forward, gives it up. Pedraza stops and pops. Just a little too much on it. And unfortunately for the Pilots, you see right there, Mannon, she seemed to rush that just a little bit and got cross-footed out of bounds. As forward will catch a breather for the Blue Streaks.
Yeah, right now, Archbold needs to take advantage of the fact they're in the penalty and really attack the rim off the dribble drive.
Meyer's trying, but she's stripped. Got to be careful from your knees if you're Mannon. Don't want to pick up a cheapie. Perez gives it up, and Archbold will set up their half-court offense. Grimm surrenders. Under 2.5 left to go in the first half.
Right now, Ayersville back in that 2-3 defense here.
Trying to look down low, and Garricky just banging away with Kraft, but they can't find her. She had her on her hip. She flashes high post here. One step into the paint. Did she have help or did she travel?
She traveled. Yeah, that was the right call. And again, credit Ayersville. They've done a nice job of mixing up their defenses just enough, not letting Archbold get comfortable in the half court.
Coming up on 2 minutes left to go in the first half. Boy, that is very physical. Meyer really getting into the jersey of Sheets, and a little too much so.
Well, that time Sheets awfully fortunate. She took that ball right to the trap area. Archbold was not able to close it out, but that's the last foul to give for the Streaks.
Dangerous pass, but Johnny on the spot off the deflection. That's why you continually keep your head on a swivel, and Kirsten Mannon now with 7 first-half points.
Yeah, Mannon has come up big, as all these seniors have for Ayersville here tonight. You know, they've got so much experience out to the floor, you know, starting 4 seniors plus Waldron.
Perez on the drive. Dishes. Meyer, nice up and under move. Take your pick. 2 gold jerseys corralled her, and I believe, well, we'll wait and see. It's going to be against Mannon, so that's her second.
Well, tremendous job that time by Grace Meyer. That's exactly what you have to do. You got a team that's over the limit foul, so try to lengthen out this last minute and a half, this opening half, by getting to the charity stripe, where if you connect, you can also set up that full court pressure, maybe get the tempo swinging your way before halftime.
And Sheets will check back in. 31-15 our score, 94 seconds left to go here in the first half. Second is on the way, and she can't find it. A little bit of pressure on the ball. Who's going to bring it up now for the Pilots? Ariel Brown, or check that as that number 11. Stand up straight so we can see you, young lady. That's Sheets. Oh, nice move, nice rip through. That is strength and grace all at the same time.
Yeah, great backdoor cut, great find, great execution there by Ayersville. And now they enjoy their largest lead of the ball game at 18.
Basket courtesy of, I believe that was Eldridge. I'm gonna have to pull out my binoculars. I swear the numbers are just getting smaller and smaller on these jerseys. Foul's gonna be charged against Lainey Sheets, her first. Grimm at the line. This one goes begging off the right side.
Yeah, nice job on that drive there by Nia Grimm. Again, attacking that Ayersville defense, trying to lengthen out this second quarter.
Second is on the way. She's got 1 of 2. And she's now in the books. Pedraza hassling Sheets on the way up. Careful, she almost dribbled into the corner and stopped. Good ball movement right now by the Pilots. Continuing to run their offense. They're not taking any air out of it. Skip pass near side. Ariel Brown releases. They'll go back to the far side. And now into the corner. Don't want to stick there for too long.
Archbold's gone to a matchup zone defense just to try to shake things up.
Oh, that's a dangerous pass, and that's just a great job of anticipation by Garricky. Work for the final shot here with 14 seconds left to go. Garricky with it outside the arc. Grimm hands it off. Pedraza stops and pops, leaves it just a bit short. Will they get a shot off? Look at this, releasing at the buzzer. Boy, they had a look. Ariel Brown leaves it short. And the first half has come to an end as the Pilots very commanding as they have more than doubled up the Blue Streaks, 33-16 as both teams head into their respective locker rooms. We're going to take a quick timeout. This First Insurance Group timeout. When we come back, it's the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Don't you go anywhere. It is live coverage of the championship game of the DPT Holiday Classic on DCTV Sports. welcome you back to the Dog Pound. The halftime show, courtesy of Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, is now underway. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. Time to take a look at our Mark Moats Ford stat summary as we have come to the end of the first 16 minutes of play. I've got points and free throws. Scoop has turnovers and points off of turnovers. Scoop, what does your staff tell you?
Well, right now in the first 16 minutes, Ayersville turned the basketball over 7 times compared to just 5 for Archbold. But really a key stat for Ayersville is Archbold is yet to score points from turnovers, something the Streaks have really kind of built their dynasty on over the years. And meanwhile, Ayersville's been able to score 4 points off the 5 Archbold turnovers. So certainly a stat that Coach Nicely is going to live with, the fact that they have not turned the ball over in those live ball situations that have led to easy runouts and scoring opportunities.
Well, he said 12 or less per game is what they want. Probably most coaches will tell you that, depending especially on the type of tempo that you want to play. But right now, defense into offense, even when they're missing, they're still getting down the court. In your opinion, how has the Blue Streaks transition defense been tonight?
Not as good as it needs to be. You know, credit Ayersville. You know, this is a team that not only has great length, but they run the floor extremely well. And you can do that when you can control the boards. And that's what Ayersville was able to do that first 16 minutes. So look for Coach Ziegler to find ways to maybe get some second chance opportunities. And that they have to do a better job on the defensive glass because Ayersville, just too solid a team. You cannot give them second chance opportunities where they really were able to take advantage of in that first quarter that got them off to a 7-1 lead.
Well, your Mark Moats Ford stat summary, that's the turnovers and points off them. Let's talk about who's doing the scoring. Let's start first for the Pilots. No surprises, the 1-2 punch of that front court, Allie Schindler and Taylor Kraft. Schindler with 8, Kraft with 7. Kraft has struggled a little bit from the charity stripe where she might be pushing, if not have double digits, as she's 1 for 4. Schindler, 4 for 4 from the line and a couple of baskets from the floor. Kirsten Manning has been, I don't want to call her an anonymous voice in the chorus, but she has just quietly played strong defense, positioned herself well without the ball. She has hit a 3, a 2, and 2 for 2 from the charity stripe. She's got 7, rounding out the scoring from the starters, Kendra Waldron with 6. They also have 7 bench points, Lainey Sheets with 5, and Allison Eldridge with a deuce. On the flip side for the Blue Streaks, the one name that we looked at a ton last night, Charlie Forward, held to just 3 points, 1 for 2 from the line, 1 basket from the floor. 4 points for Miley Garricky, 2 for Grace Meyer, 1 for starting center Nia Grimm. She's 1 for 2 from the floor. If it weren't for Alana Perez, this might be an even bigger deficit. The 5'1" backup point guard has been spectacular. She is 3, check that, she is 4 of 5 from the charity stripe and 6 points overall this evening, and she's been a great spark plug off the bench.
She really has. I thought she really kept them in the game where Ayersville was looking to possibly try to run away with it, with the way they were getting points in transition, points in the paint, points from the free throw line, points off of second chance opportunities. But again, she gave the Streaks a spark there, maybe some life there in the fact that they need to figure out a way to play downhill and attack that Ayersville defense. They need to start going inside out. They just did not have enough touches down low. And likewise, Ayersville with that size advantage, boy, they've made it awfully tough to get points inside for Archbold here tonight.
We're going to take a quick break. Back with more of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. 33-16. All Pilots over the Blue Streaks, but we still have another half of ball to play. You're watching the championship game of the DPT Holiday Classic on DCTV Sports. Both teams out for a relatively quick shoot around here, 2.5 minutes before we resume second half play. Pilots leading the Blue Streaks 33-16. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. All right, Scoop, in 2.5 minutes, you have exactly 1 minute and 15 seconds to break down both teams' coaches' speeches to their teams in the locker room. Let's start with Tim Nicely for the Pilots.
Well, for Tim Nicely, you want to come out and you tell your kids it's 0-0 right now. You go out and win the second half. You can't let your foot off the accelerator. This is an Archbold team that's got depth, that knows how to win, who's had a lot of success in this classic tournament. So you have to keep playing. Meanwhile, for Coach Brian Ziegler on the flip side, you still got 16 minutes to work with. Not the first half you drew up, but the fact that you've got kids that came in, gave you some minutes off the bench. You didn't play your best basketball, but yet you're still within striking distance. So you have to find a way to take away those points in the paint for Ayersville. If you can force the Pilots to shoot over top, you've got a chance to work your way back in this ballgame. We're
going to take our final break of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show, second half, when we come back on DCTV. Final 55 seconds ticking off the scoreboard clock as we get set for the start of quarter number 3. Ayersville and Archbold. Pilots leading 33-16, looking to bring home the championship hardware of this year's DPT Holiday Classic. Well, situations, and again, I'm going to make a rough comparison to the college game, Scoop, but when you're down by a significant deficit like this, most coaches will tell you we're going to break the second half down into 4-minute segments. Each media timeout to each media timeout. You can't score a 17-point basket. Here at the high school level, clearly you don't have quite as much time, but is it a fair comparison to say if you adjust, break this second half down into 2.5-minute segments? You've got basically 3, maybe a little over 3 in that third quarter. And if you can take a bite out of these 2.5, another bite out of these 2.5, all of a sudden you're back in this ball game.
No question about it. I think both coaches have probably echoed to their teams first 3 minutes of the second half. First 3 minutes, that's where you want to kind of set the tone and get things going the way you want it, because, again, this is a 4-quarter game, a lot of time to go here. Both these teams know how to win ball games, so you have to finish strong here.
Schindler, contested shot. It bounces off the rim a couple times. Pilots 0 for their opening offensive series as Meyer, great look to get into the paint. I believe that was Mabel McGuire that cut her off, and Meyer drug her pivot foot.
Yeah, that time Ayersville got a break because Meyer went uncontested until she got the ball deep in the lane. Unfortunately, she didn't try to finish. Gets caught walking with the basketball, the first turnover of the second half.
Same starting 5 for both teams that began the ball game. Kraft being aggressive on the drive, and it's out of bounds off her knee. She got some tight defense there by Nia Grimm, and it pays dividends with the turnover.
And that's what Archbold needs to do. They need to step up their physicality. They can't take those fouls home with them. And these officials do a great job letting the kids play. So you have to really be the aggressive here, especially down 17.
Boy, Pedraza was looking for a little daylight. Grimm drawing a double team back to Pedraza, and she lost the dribble. Oh my goodness, behind her back, off the chin of Schindler, but she maintains enough composure to go up the court, and that was just a tough angle for Waldron.
Yeah, that time Waldron just a little bit too far underneath the hoop when she tracked it.
And we've got a turnover. Is that an offensive foul?
Yeah, I think they're going to get Grimm for clearing space here out ahead of the basketball.
That's her second.
Well, yes, it was.
Yep. Lots of pace, kind of frenetic to start the second half here, but still no scoring. Schindler will slow it down. Pedraza staying right with her. That'll be a fun matchup. One dribble in, 15-footer. I believe that was McGuire. Oh, nice look down low, and Schindler misses the bunny. Kraft and Schindler bang into each other. They lose the basketball. And they're going to be bailed out with a foul. And is that Garricky? Yep. And that's her third.
Yeah, that time, credit Ayersville, man, came up with a nice fight inside after the offensive rebound. Archbold kind of dodged a bullet. Typically, Ayersville's going to finish that shot inside.
Well, Kraft coming out to set a screen. They will switch. McGuire gives up the basketball. Oh, nice rip through. Beautiful move, but missing Waldron on the bunny. Loose ball underneath, and Garricky finally pulls it down.
Wow, that was a great first step there that had that Archbold defense beat.
Pedraza gives it up to Garricky. Wide open three, and she doesn't catch anything. I know that's going down as a missed shot, but again, a situation where Garricky just shakes her head. That's effectively still a turnover, isn't it? I know you don't mark it as such, but a wasted possession.
Yeah, I get it. And typically they want Garricky spotting up, shooting that three. And there's another second chance point that gets away from Ayersville.
Lid on both baskets. It's been fun, but both coaches would prefer to see some offense to start the second half here. Meyer from her rear end gets rid of it to Pedraza. Grimm, is she thinking about it? Oh, she got caught in her own head and turns it over.
Yeah, right now, 5 turnovers combined by both teams here. We're going to have an early timeout here in this third quarter.
Both teams just needing to settle down a little bit, getting after it, but no change in our score. 5:35 left to go in the third quarter. Back with more on DCTV Sports. Whistle sounds. Ball will be inbound. Archbold showing some full court pressure. Ayersville goes over the top of it. Waldron testing the waters. And again, just an ill-advised pass, and the ball deflected out of bounds. That is Alana Pedraza. Just love this kid's engine.
Yeah, she's got a motor that doesn't stop, and she nearly had a turnover in her run out, but Ayersville fortunate to get that basketball back.
Well, that's a dangerous pass. Schindler, though, using her height to track it down. Stop and go, a little hard. And we've got an offensive foul.
Yeah, great check out by Grace Myers. She's only 5'4", but again, when you get physical in there, when you body up, you force that official to make a call. So a textbook check out there by Meyer. And that's the 4th shot from ground zero here in the opening 2:41 that Ayersville has not cashed in on, keeping the streaks right in it.
Forward. Very quiet in the first half. Just 3 points. Going to test the waters. Cut off by Kraft. Throws up a bit of a prayer, and look who gets the board as well. And now she held on to the ball a little long. She's double teamed. Are they going to call a timeout? They're going to call a foul, and I think Forward took the worst end of that as she's rubbing her nose.
Boy, she did. She took an elbow right to the nose. If you know anything about Charlie Forward, she's just going to kind of brush it off and keep playing. But boy, that was a shot, and she gets credit for the foul as well, unfortunately.
Almost stripped. Walden picked up her dribble into a triple team. Now they'll back it out. Archbold picking up their defensive pressure here. Neither team yet to score to begin the second half. In between the circles. Brown gives it up. Double teamed in the corner. Boy, the on-ball defense by Archbold here in the second half has been spectacular. And here comes Pedraza. 1-on-2, but she keeps her dribble, tries to center the basketball. Forward. Sometimes discretion's the better part of valor. Likes to back it out. Nice job by Garricky. Pump fake. Kraft stays vertical, and they play on. And they turn it over again. Pedraza, nice jab step. Step back three. Can't get the roll. Maybe they should switch to horse here in the second half. This is unbelievable. We are over halfway through the third quarter. Neither team has scored a point to open up the second half. Grimm muscling up down low. Kraft staying vertical, and she altered another shot. Schindler will slow it down. I think Coach Nicely with that direction saying, okay, things are a bit helter-skelter right now. Good ball reversal. Sheets didn't want the shot. Waldron keeping a waist-high dribble. Schindler, maybe a little gun-shy after missing a few good looks as well. 3:15 and counting. Slowing it down, lob pass down low. Schindler finally takes the lid off the basket.
That took nearly 5 minutes for either team to score, but great job by Ayersville getting in the half-court set. Great execution.
And one and done. Grimm got a good look, but Kraft cleans up. And Schindler, one cool customer, is just going to say 2-0 will be fine for us in the third quarter.
And give Ariel Brown a lot of credit. She made a nice lob pass, entry pass there from deep to lead to that deuce.
Timeout on the floor with 2:49 left to go. 35-16 Pilots with the lead. Don't you go anywhere. We're back with more of the DPT Holiday Classic on DCTV Sports. .249 left to go in the third quarter. It has been high energy. Both teams have had very good looks, not just good, very good looks. We got to double check. There's no plexiglass over either or both of the rims, are there? The janitorial staff didn't pull a fast one on anybody here. Sometimes the ball just doesn't fall, Scoop. We are well over halfway through the third quarter. One basket, 2 total points between both teams here in the championship game of the DPT Classic.
Yeah, both teams have had some excellent looks here in the first 5+ minutes of this third quarter, but the defenses have stepped up. Both these teams known for playing defense.
Brown was stripped, and it's not a turnover, but man, is it getting even more physical right now. Archbold realizing they've got to do something here to try and light a fire. McGuire, nice job putting on a little Curly Lemon dribble penetration there. You would know that, would you not?
I would.
Anybody over 40 should know exactly what that comparison was. Sheets thought about a one-handed bullet pass. Instead, she's going to drive, and she'll go to the line.
And that's going to be just the second foul, I believe, or maybe, no, Archbold, they had a couple early. They had an offensive foul, but I think it's going to be maybe the 4th foul, but great job by Ayersville to attack that aggressive streak defense. And they're the first of 2 up and in.
Ariel Brown drains her first. The foul was against Garricky, and that's her 4th, and she will have to sit.
You know, it's amazing how many different offensive options that Ayersville has. I mean, you're going to start with Schindler and Kraft, of course.
Oh, Kraft with a tremendous board, and they get the 3-point play.
Boy, that's where they've made their hay tonight. Points in the paint.
Perez a little low. Second chance opportunity, no good. Now they've got numbers up the court. That's the extra pass, and McGuire couldn't handle it. Bullet pass as they still don't get back. That's just basically, I won't say it, but I don't think Coach Ziegler is very happy with the transition D there by the Blue Streaks. We'll keep it here. Is that gassed, or is that just frustration setting in, or maybe a little bit of both?
Well, I think it's probably a combination of both, and I think that's a great timeout by Brian Ziegler. In fact, I looked over right away because that, to me, was a hustle play.
Yep.
And Archbold is the type of team that makes hustle plays, but that time, really no excuse not to get back there. Ayersville had that initial break, give it to them, but once it broke down, the cavalry should have been there. So maybe a little bit of fatigue, the fact that the Streaks had to go 32 minutes last night with Tinora before they pulled it out. And the first time all year they've gone consecutive nights. But either way, you know, Brian Ziegler not happy with what he saw there. I like the timeout. But right now it's been all Ayersville as Archbold has yet to score a point here in the first plus minutes of this third quarter.
Well, we just saw the huddle for the Pilots and how collected they are, and Coach Tim Nicely, but I guarantee you if the camera had panned over, Coach Ziegler was preaching some fire in that Blue Streaks huddle. He was not happy with their effort on that last play. We'll see if it comes to fruition on the court. Perez picks up the loose pass. They almost turn it over. Substitution in, Janae Kinsman. And on-ball pressure, too far out from the basketball, and that's going to be a foul against Waldron. That is her first.
Yeah, that time, good job by Kinsman playing strong with it. She was getting some contact there, but was able to protect the basketball. But again, just the second team foul here by Ayersville, who can still be ultra aggressive here with 2 fouls to give in the final 90 seconds of quarter 3.
Kinsman beyond the arc. Popping out top of the key, Roofer. Nice job by Perez dribbling down into the paint, but the help side defense has been there. That's a great pass, great look, but it's short by Roofer. Rebound, the outlet, and here comes Sheets. Coming up on a minute left to go third quarter. She kicks it into a second gear. Great pass, great job to fill down the lane. That's the equivalent of cutting your meat for you at dinner. That's an easy dice for Mannon.
Wow, tremendous job once again by Ayersville breaking down that Blue Streak defense and getting that nice crossover pass there to the other side. Another easy deuce inside for the Pilots.
Body's falling down. Perez tries to take advantage of it. Nice offensive board. Kinsman, though, can't find it, and she had a little help out of bounds. It will remain Pilot basketball. Or check that, Blue Streak basketball with 34 and 7/10 seconds left to go in the quarter.
Yeah, good hustle play by Janae Kinsman. That time just overmatched with the size there by Ayersville, so she made the only play she had.
Oh, nice move to the basket, but again, the defense suffocates Roofer, and we got a partial block. Schindler brings it up the far side. 22 seconds and counting. She'll just kind of dribble things out. Looks like the Pilots will be content to work for the final shot of the quarter. McGuire. Top of the key now, Sheets. They got to start moving. 7 seconds. Schindler. High-low pass. Kraft leans in. Nobody there. Oh, speaking of nobody, almost. Kraft, does she put it in? Will that count? Yes! They'll say it counts. She got it off before the buzzer sounded. And Taylor Kraft, with her 11th point of this ball game, rubs salt in the wound as we've come to the end of the third 8 minutes of play. Pilots up 44-16. Final quarter when we come back. You're watching the championship game of the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. Final 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock here at the Dog Pound. Every now and then you just see something that makes you have to check your lion eyes. I double-checked my book. The Blue Streaks of Archbold held scoreless for the entire third quarter as Ayersville with a commanding 44-16 lead.
Yeah, what a quarter by Ayersville. You know, they struggled offensively for the majority of that quarter, but their defense never let up. They did a great job of protecting the rim, not giving Archbold any easy looks. The result, 11-0 third quarter for the Pilots.
Forward puts up a three from the wing, nothing doing. Bodies flying here, and do we have a timeout being called by the Pilots? They're going to say, who's getting off the bottom of that pile? It looks like Mannon. We'll take a break with them. Not quite 30 seconds into the fourth and final quarter. Back with more on DCTV Sports. heady timeout by the Pilots keeps possession as they will break their respective huddles coming out of that timeout. Some token pressure right now, and Schindler will bring the ball up the court. And, whoa, look at that. Pedraza with quick hands. Pedraza goes in, and those are the first points of any kind for Archbold here in the second half.
And the first time Archbold tonight has got points from their defense.
They're going to stay on it. Schindler kicks it into a second gear. She goes coast to coast. She didn't quite go all the way to the iron. She kind of faded on that layup, and it's off the mark. It will be Blue Streaks basketball. Oh, it will not. I stand corrected. I kept hearing white. Maybe that was the play that was being called in from the sideline. Top of the key. Forward being aggressive as she ties up Mannon. Arrow points to Archbold. This time it will be white basketball.
A great job by Charlie Ford. You know, that was one of those one-on-one perimeter battles, and give the defense credit as Ford came up with a big pick and turnover.
Garricky, 3, top of the key. Longboard kicks out to Grimm. Is she going to muscle up? She will, and she'll get a chance at free throws. Now, Scoop, again, we did not anticipate this. I don't think anybody, not just in this gym, anybody associated with either program, period, would have expected what we're seeing tonight on this scoreboard.
Well, no question about it. And everybody knows that Ayersville is an excellent team.
Yes.
You know, that's no secret. But we also know how competitive this Archbold team has been. And the win that they had last night, where they were really kind of down out, they came back to win it late, and you think that would maybe bode some confidence. But the Streaks have had their struggles here tonight as Grimm was able to cash in on the back end of that 2-shot foul.
Pilots will go over the top of the press, and a heady play by McGuire to back it out. They're going to stay on the ball, and in particular, Meyer just harassing the point guard for Ayersville. She's picked up her dribble. Schindler, high blocks Kraft, cutting back door, and Waldron can't hit the layup, but we'll see if she can hit the free throws.
And that's frustrating right there for Archbold, because that time, tremendous ball pressure by Grace Meyer. Looked like they might have had a 5-second count, certainly near it. But Ayersville was able to get that nice pass to the middle, nice backdoor cut.
Garricky has just fouled out, Scoop. Frustrating night for her. As she had 4 points at the half, she will finish with 4.
Yeah, not the night she envisioned, but she's going to be a player that's really going to give Archbold a lot of valuable minutes and certainly points this year. You know, she's a proven shooter. You know, she's a girl that's really going to be a force for them as they try to seek out their 16th ever NWOL title.
Oof, Waldron struggling on both free throws, but look at this. Taylor Kraft crashing the boards. Another offensive putback. She's got 13 on the night.
Well, the shot chart tonight is the stat of the night, because just too many points from ground zero. And there's a nice-looking mid-range jumper by Charlie Ford to give Archbold just their second basket of the second half.
Schindler slows it down. Down low to Zartman, who got a great seal. What I liked there was she didn't rush. She knew she had the defense beat. She steadied, got straight up, and made the basket.
And I like how Ayersville, you know, a lot of times after a score, that's sometimes their best transition opportunities, and they've cashed in tonight, catching the Streaks a little bit behind there on transition defense. So credit Ayersville, another bucket in the paint there. They're starting to mount up.
27-point advantage for the Pilots, and that's just a loose dribble. Here comes Waldron. She's taking on anybody and everybody, and she'll go to the line again. I believe this one's going to go against forward. We'll wait and see. There were 3 white jerseys over there. Yep, it is, and that's her 4th.
Yeah, once again, Waldron just one of many Pilots out there capable of going to the rack and putting points on the board. And now the sophomore is able to connect as she gets that shooter's touch on the first of a 2-shot foul.
She's just 2 for 6 from the line. She'll try and be 100% here. And this one goes begging. Ford with the board, dangerous outlet, and it's stolen away by McGuire. Secondary break, Schindler. Did she tap that to herself? Count it, and one coming.
What a heads-up play. You know, you don't have possession, so you can't travel.
Oh, my
but she
goodness.
knew exactly where to kind of tip that ball to, and then she tracks it down.
Can she give herself an assist?
And now you get the N1.
Oh, man. What a play.
Well, I would have been begging for it for my stats anyways.
Oh, my goodness.
I always loved the year when I had a assist, and I would have certainly been arguing for one there. But just a great heads-up play. And, again, credit Ayersville. They're getting points out of transition, which I don't think a lot of people thought would really develop here tonight. But Ayersville proven that they can get up and down the floor.
Well, with that, Schindler is in double figures now, and she's got 13. Likewise, Kraft. 5:19 left to go, and that's just a nifty move by Perez.
She continues to provide Archbold with a spark here tonight as she's able to break down that pilot defense. One of the few uncontested shots tonight given up by Ayersville.
Brown and Sheets playing a little catch. Zartman down low. It's a little hard off the glass. Pedraza, one of the shortest players on the court with the weak side board. She's going coast to coast, and look at that. That is the motor that we saw last night.
Oh, that's a beautiful move there by Pedroza. That time she had great position for the rebound on the backside, and then no hesitation. What a great finish there at the other end on a coast-to-coast drive.
In a double team, and the Pilots will call timeout with 4:43 left to go. We'll break with them. 52-25, Ayersville with the lead. We're back with the final 4:43 after this on DCTV. There you see a somewhat dejected Archbold team break their huddle around Coach Brian Ziegler. Ayersville doing the same around Coach Tim Nicely. They are 4:43 away from going 6-0 on the young season and bringing home the championship hardware of this season's DPT Holiday Classic Tournament. Substitutions are in right now for the Pilots. Even mix. As that ball down low through the fingertips of Mannon, but she saved it. Back up top to Waldron. Kraft and Schindler both out, most likely for the remainder of this game. Ariel Brown. Do I see Laney Sheets? Yes, Laney Sheets, as that one's deflected. Another turnover. Pedraza splits a double team. Does she have no fear again? That's actually pretty good transition defense, especially by Sheets.
Yeah, it really was. Anytime you can reroute Pedraza, you're going to take it. And now Archbold has to set up in half court against a 3-2 Ayersville defense.
The lead remains 27 as we're now under the 4-minute mark. This game got a very late start because one of two JV games went into overtime. Bounce pass, low blocks. Nice rip move by Roofer. Did everything but finish, but Perez tracks it down. Kinsman tries to reverse the ball and maybe a little over anxious there. Reach and foul going to be called against Ariel Brown.
Yeah, that time Brown had the right idea, just a little bit slow getting to it and caught a little bit of Kinsman's arm. But just the second foul here in the fourth quarter for Ayersville as we hit the 3:30 mark of this contest.
Handoff goes to Kinsman into the paint. Nice drive. Just a little strong. And we have, you're going to have to check that one for me. On the roster, number 24 for Archbold. She's not on the roster. Either roster that I have. I'm even looking at the JV roster. Somebody has changed numbers. So we'll give the mystery player, we'll just call her, I have no idea what a good nickname would be for a no number. Outlet. Boy, bodies flying everywhere. We got very slow to get up in the back court. At the other end, Waldron finishes the breakaway. 29 points the lead. Muscling up down low, and Rupert, there's no quit in her. She just keeps working hard every time she gets a post up.
Yeah, nice move there by Nora Rufer, and credit Perez once again. Tremendous dribble penetration and a nice hook pass across the lane. And now Ayersville has Archbold doubled up, 54-27.
Coming up on 2.5. Nice spin move. Waldron drives, and take your pick. Brenda Hurd, does that sound right? Brenda Kerr. I'm listening to Josh off the PA system here because she is not on either roster that we have. And we did not have an opportunity in between games to get down and check the book.
And credit Kendra Waldron once again. You know, she's doing such a nice job of really attacking the rim, trying to finish strong inside. That free throw is going to rim out. And look at the bodies fly going for that rebound. Looks like Addie Kinsman will come up with it for Archbold.
They'll reverse it near side. Janae Kinsman, and we've got, wow, numbers not matching up here. We're doing our best, folks. As loose ball, scrum for it, top of the key. Jump ball with 2:02 left to go.
Right now, the one thing about both these teams you can say, you can't tell what the score is right now because we've had bodies on the floor, I think the last 3 trips down at each end. And just like that 50-50 ball right there, both teams selling out, trying to grab hold of it.
Laney Sheets will bring it across the timeline. And Ayersville continuing to run their offense, and that one deflected out of bounds. Alexa Grieve has checked in. Looking to get some more numbers on some of the substitutions here for the Pilots. Ball comes inbounds. Ella Killigallen. Sheets will just keep a waist-high dribble. And it doesn't look like the Pilots are in any rush here. That doesn't mean they're not running their offense, but milking time off the clock at the same time as Grieve surrenders the basketball. Nice crossover, and this time taking the shot a little hard off the glass, and Sheets couldn't find the range. Rebounded by Kinsman. Long outlet on the drive. Nothing doing. Out of bounds.
Once again, good transition defense by the Pilots as they had all 5 girls back in the paint, forced a tough runner from the baseline. There's Addie Kinsman, drains it deep. 2 foot was on the line, just missed being the trifecta. But a nice looking shot there by the 4'11 sophomore.
55-29, now under a minute left to go. Sheets drives, kicks it back out. Tell you what, though, Archbold is not going to quit playing defense, and that is a steal. Here comes Kinsman, stops, gets the defense in the air. She's got herself a little highlight reel material.
Yeah, great job there by Kinsman. And I love how she came to the jump stop, got herself gathered, took it up strong. 2 more points from that Archbold defense. It's going to be too little too late for the Streaks here.
On the drive. Rim run no good. Slowing it down as Sheets thought she should have had that one. Under 20 seconds left to go in the ball game. Good defense by Allison Eldridge to cut off the baseline. Rebound up and no good, but we've got a foul call.
Yeah, the Streaks are still scrapping, and credit Addie Kinsman once again.
Eldridge guilty of her first.
As Kinsman was able to bring that ball up in transition. When she didn't have it, she looked the floor over, made a nice pass across. And there you see Archbold finally starting to find their stride here offensively. But boy, credit Ayersville for the longest time. They made every point a premium for the streaks.
I believe PA and Josh said Matty Bowers. Does that sound right? Give him a thumbs up. 55-33, final 8 seconds. Tell you what, they're not going to basically surrender here. They're going to be in your jersey until the buzzer sounds. Archbold will not concede. Out near half court, Sheets will just kind of keep a waist-high dribble. Bowers is staying right with her. And now the buzzer sounds. Final score, Ayersville in command from the very opening tip. And they win in dominant fashion, 55-33. Not only do they stay a perfect 6-0 on the season, but they will take home the championship hardware of the 2023 DPT Holiday Classic Tournament.
Now, what an impressive tournament here for Ayersville. Now back-to-back championships for the Pilots, and both years taking out Archbold in the finals.
We are going to take a break. When we come back, it's the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center post-game show. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching live coverage of the DPT Classic on DCTV Sports. We're doing stats as we bring you back to the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. I'm still working on scoring and free throws, but Scoop has been keeping track of turnovers and points off of turnovers. So with that said, let's start our Mark Moats Ford stat summary with your stat sheet, sir.
Well, for turnovers tonight, both teams finished with 14 turnovers, and that's a win for Ayersville in the fact that they wanted to get in a half-court game where it wasn't going to be up and down, where there's going to be a lot of turnovers in transition. Archbold, unfortunately for the Streaks, only 3 points they were able to convert off of Ayersville turnovers. I thought that was a huge stat right there. Meanwhile, Ayersville was able to score 8 points off 14 Blue Streak turnovers. I think if Coach Nicely, if they had a wash in that area, they would take it because Archbold's been so good at getting points from their defense all season long.
Will is down on the floor. He's getting a 3/4 court shot of this year's champions. And there you take a look at the Pilots. They earned this one, and they earned it basically from the opening tip-off. Congratulations going out to Coach Nicely and company, and they can smile for quite some time. I don't know if Will can get any closer. Look at the fans here. They're going, get in there. Get in that scrum, buddy. Go ahead and play the card. Do you know who I am, right? Absolutely. There you go. Good job. And you understand the parents wanting to get a look at their youngins. And now, absolutely, they're mugging for the camera. He is the most popular man in this gymnasium right now. Well, pays to have a camera in your hand.
Well, they certainly earned it, and they earned those smiles because that's a great team right there. They've got so many different weapons there, so many kids that contribute. That's one of the deepest teams I've seen. They can go to the bench and get that spark, not only on the glass, on defense, but also offensively. Just a complete team effort tonight by the Pilots, and they were impressive in both games here at the Dog Pound as they come out with impressive back-to-back wins here on consecutive nights.
Well, again, this is the 38th edition of this tournament, so we want to thank again Defiance Physical Therapy as we wrap up our scoring totals here this evening. How about this? Kendra Waldron quietly ended up leading all players with 14 points. Allie Schindler and Taylor Kraft both scored 13. They sat the better part of the fourth quarter. Mabel McGuire, the point guard, finishes with 9. They ended up with 10 bench points, 5 off the bench for Lainey Sheets, a deuce apiece for Allison Eldridge and Addie Zartman, and 1 for 2 from the line for Ariel Brown. For the Blue Streaks, Sometimes you just have to flush it, and that's exactly what they're going to have to do this evening. They were led by Alana Perez off the bench with 8 points. She had 6 in the first half. Nobody else came within half of that. Miley Garricky with 4 points off the bench for Addie Kinsman, 4 points for Alana Pedraza. But the big one here is who didn't score, Scoop. Charlie Forward only finishes with 5 points this evening. They locked her down.
Yeah, and, Charlie Ford had a great tournament. Last night she went off for 18 points, led all scorers, but you knew Ayersville was going to stack up and match up much better to Forward than Tinora could. And credit Ayersville. They came out, had a game plan, they executed. They were really able to keep Forward in check, which is easier said than done. So a complete effort by Ayersville. They got it done in every phase here tonight, and they are the deserving champions here of this 38th annual tournament.
We're going to take our last break of the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. When we come back, it's the Steichman Automotive Group Player of the Game. Don't go anywhere. Back to put a wrap on it on DCTV Sports. Back to put a wrap on the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller as the championship game of the DPT Classic. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Although it is a long night here on DCTV Sports. 55-33 as the Pilots go 6-0 in a commanding win over the Blue Streaks of Archbold, who fall to 4-3. Time for our Steichman Automotive Group Player of the Game. Look, I know Kendra Waldron had 14 to lead everybody. Allie Schindler is very deserving with 13. But Taylor Kraft, who was relatively quiet offensively last night. As a matter of fact, I looked down, she only had 4 points. Now, granted, I think she had an equal number of blocks. She had probably about that many again tonight. Really altered easily, probably twice that many shots. She was probably pushing a double-double as far as board work, and she finishes with 13. We're going with Taylor Kraft tonight.
Yeah, what a performance by Taylor Kraft. And you hit the nail on the head, Brent. Not only does she block shots, she changes shots so well. And she's that game changer inside. When you get beat on the perimeter and you got somebody like her helping out inside, boy, that makes it awfully tough. And the Blue Streaks really had their struggle scoring. Just 16 points through 3 quarters. Now, they did score 17 in the fourth. I had Kraft down for 13 points and 13 rebounds.
Wow.
She'll have a night this year where she might get a triple-triple when you figure out how many block shots she gets in. She'll have those kind of nights.
Well, right now she is our Steichman Automotive Group Player of the Game. Congratulations going out to Taylor Kraft, and congratulations going out to the Ayersville Pilots, a convincing win in the championship game of the DPT Classic here. That's going to do it for our coverage here this evening. Scoop, appreciate you throwing on the headset tonight.
It's always fun to be here at the Taj Mahal, as they say here at Defiance. No better host anywhere, and this has been such a great tournament, long-standing tournament, and the great sponsors that continue to step up to the plate to make this happen for the kids.
That's going to do it for our coverage this evening. Also want to thank our crew, always doing a fantastic job. A big thank you to our sports underwriters for helping bring you our coverage of area high school sports. And a big thank you for you, the fan, for tuning in. For Scoop Miller, I'm Brent Balbinot. Final score tonight, Ayersville remains perfect on the season at 6-0 and also taking home the championship trophy of the DPT Classic, courtesy of a 55-33 victory over Archbold. That's going to do it for our coverage this evening. You've been watching a presentation of DC TV Sports.